to the second baseman, Lukas Hoju, back to put it away. And there is out number one as we take a peek at that first base dugout and get a look at 44-year-old German manager Jendrik Spears, same age as Brazilian manager Yuichi Matsumoto. And like we told you, Jendrik Spears played in more games for Team Germany than any other player to don the Deutschland uniform.
He's played more games in a Deutschland uniform than most people have played in any uniform. He played for over 20 years.
But he is cool, calm, and collected, and he's got to feel real good about what his team did yesterday. Slow curve from Enzo Sawayama, so a lefty in the booth and two lefties on the mound here for game one.
I love this. Two very different lefties as well. Sawayama pretty much straight over the top. Hasn't played much professionally, only in these qualifiers.
Helmig slashes one to third. Hejinato picks it and gets it over to Bichette. How about that? 4 pitches, 2 quick outs here for Sawayama.
Yeah, both these guys are going to be in the zone quite a bit. You can tell command is going to be, on display today, which is something that we don't get to say very often in baseball anymore. The truth is, stuff is often more valued than command. But today we're going to see some lefties really pounding the zone with different looks, and that's how they're going to try to get this, weak contact consistently.
Lucas Dunn was in the middle of all the action yesterday. 2 for 4, a couple of doubles, drove in 2 runs, and also scored a run. 1-0 from Sawayama. And there's a strike, but over the top action like Steven talked about, that last one coming in at 85.
This Team Germany hit a lot yesterday, but they also walked.
They also got hit by a couple of pitches. There's one right there, glancing off Dunn, who sheds his gear and gets on with 2 outs.
Speaking of walks,
Baumgart.
Yeah, Simon Baumgart yesterday had 3 of them on his own. Ended up with a perfect day, 2 for 2. He had the 3 runs. He scored 3 times. He had an RBI. He walked 3 times. He had that walk-off walk to end the game in the mercy rule. Very patient, this German offense. 10 walks in that game against Team China.
They did it all yesterday, and here's Baumgart, who was brilliant. But he certainly went around right there. And he earned his promotion here today. Batted 6th yesterday and rewarded his manager 2 for 2, a double, 3 walks, an RBI, and 3 runs. Sawayama quick to the dish, and it's a ball and a strike.
You're going to see a lot of fastballs inside of the righties, because both of these guys, when you don't throw especially hard, like I did, you have to be able to get in on righties to make them uncomfortable so that works.
Baumgart yanks one through the left side. It might have caught a piece of Hejinato on its way through, but Baumgart stays perfect, and he has yet to be retired in this qualifier.
Unbelievable. When it's going right, it's going right. That ball was not hit particularly well. A really good changeup from Sawayama, low and away, and he gets the ground ball that he's looking for. Sorry, that's more of a curveball. Gets that ground ball he's looking for. Unfortunately, just in the perfect spot. Must have had a lot of spin on it. That kind of really took off on that second bounce.
So how quickly fortunes change for Enzo Sawayama. Got the first 2 outs on just 4 pitches. And now Germany threatening right away. First and second for Sean Larry, who drove in a couple of runs with a big double yesterday. And this could be the kind of guy that he feasts on, because if you remember, the double that we showed you went up the alley in left center field.
Yeah, he likes to keep those hands inside, stay in the middle of the field. Very good approach as a left-handed hitter.
Larry now 33 years old, brings a lot of experience to this lineup. Debuted in the German Bundesliga back in 2009 for Heidenheim Heidekopf, and he's been there ever since.
Well done, the pronunciation.
I had to get that one in there. I was going to challenge myself. I took a risk, and
it paid off.
Sometimes you get lucky, bro.
Just sound it out.
Now, I have to ask, can you turn him loose right here?
Absolutely, yeah. With 2 outs, runners on first and second, get a pitch you like.
Takes one thigh high.
And I think even with a green light there, you don't have to swing. If you're a hitter, green light means you can if you want to. But, if Larry's up at the plate, not seeing what he likes.
Sawayama comes set, and he got him to chase. So changing the eye level. Strike 1 was down, strike 2 was up, and now the runners get their start.
Big pitch here, 3-2. Runners on first and second. Big first inning action for Germany.
Dunn at second, Baumgart at first. Germany trying to pick up where they left off yesterday. And now they're loaded. And there's another walk for Team Germany.
I mean, this is what we've seen. These walks have not been come upon easily most of the time, other than Donald Lutz, who didn't see many strikes at all yesterday. Most of these walks have been hard fought and won, and that was another example right there. Get 3-0, so you are in the driver's seat, and then to be able to say, all right, I'm not going to try to jump out of my shoes here. I'm just going to try to keep that line moving, and now you bring up Yannick Walter, who 0 for 3 yesterday, but can always do some damage. Definitely somebody that Team Germany's hoping can break out today and then take that into that later in the qualifier.
Andre Rienzo, the Brazilian pitching coach, out for a chat. Just trying to get everybody on the same page because it looked like Sawayama was going to coast through this first inning. But he plunked Lucas Dunn, surrendered the single to Baumgart, and then walked Larry a moment ago on a 3-2. So now it's Yannick Walter's turn. And he's trying to erase the sting of an 0 for 3 yesterday. Caught the first 5 innings and was eventually lifted for Winston Arentz to finish the game. One thing that Stephen and I noticed yesterday with Team Brazil is that they have no problem putting Lucas Ramirez way off the line in right field. So Walter's got a chance right away. Bases loaded for Germany here in the first. And he goes after it, sending a fly ball off the end of the bat into right for Ramirez. And that time he was positioned perfectly. Sawayama leaves them loaded. We go to the second with no score. A quick look at some of the rules and regulations here for the WBC qualifiers. All these games played according to the provisions of the 2024 baseball rules. And now the rule changes from 2023 will now be implemented. So for the first time, the qualifiers have the pitch clock. Dante Bichette Jr. in the cleanup spot once again. So there's a ball 1 outside after a 13-pitch top of the first from left-hander Tommy Sommer. Dante Bichette 0 for 3 with a strikeout yesterday. Kind of pigeon-toed on the right side. Flares this one into center. Lucas Dunn slides over to put it away.
And we had 3 pitch clock violations today. We'll keep track of that. And Bichette was a victim. He had a 3rd strike on that pitch clock violation.
I'll set the over-under for that at 2.5.
Ooh.
Now it's Lucas Hoju.
3.5.
Hoju involved in one of the plays of the day. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes a strike. If you remember, Hoju in the 5th inning last night against Colombia sent a scorching line drive down to 3rd, but Gio Urshela was able to dive and pick it.
That was a nice play.
Another one headed towards 3rd. This one up the line and foul, with Brink coming down the line to get it. You touched on it before, partner. That left side of the infield with Brink at third and Schmidt at shortstop. You got to feel really good about that if you're Germany moving forward.
Absolutely, and as a left-handed pitcher who's looking for weak contact, and you're facing a lot of righties in this Brazilian lineup, of course, you're gonna hope that your left side of the defense is going to be a strength, because you know you're going to be getting a lot of weak ground balls to that side. We've already seen Brink doing a great job coming in, and we saw Schmidt going to his right really well yesterday.
Look at that front foot lift from Lucas Hoju. He stares outside. Watch that front heel come off the ground for the 30-year-old. And he's climbed the ranks for Team Brazil. Originally a backup infielder in the 2012 qualifiers, but he's been their starting second baseman now for the third straight qualifying event. A couple of years ago, 2 for 15. Did drive in a couple of runs in those 4 games. His best qualifiers came in 2016 when he was 3 for 10. And this one stays fair for Brink. Nice and casual to Lutz for out number 2. 5 up and 5 down for Tommy Sommer.
He does make that look really easy. It's a very smooth movement for him. He's not a guy that I would call a fast lever guy, right? Okay. Not somebody who's explosive, but it's somebody who's comfortable, who looks like they are smooth in everything they do. I think Brink is one of those guys.
What I like to say is he sachets the throw.
Oh,
kind of
nice.
Kicks that one leg out. As a performer yourself, you understand.
Oh, yeah. Done a few sachets in my day.
Victor Mascai at the plate. Healthy cut, strike 1. Tommy Sommer just pounding that zone. Trying to make it 2 perfect innings here. And got Colombia back to the plate. Nice steady wind up. And it's fouled off. He's just working ahead. 0-2 on Mascai.
If Team Germany can pitch the way that they've been able to hit pretty well historically in these classics, pitching has been a problem for them. If they can continue to pitch the way they have so far, they are a dangerous team.
1-2.
A lot of experience together. Sorry, yes. They are. A lot of experience together on this Deutschland team for a long time.
Oh. A couple of Deutschland infielders thought they had strike 3. I noticed the corners creeping in. Donald Lutz was starting to make his way towards the dugout. Pretty good frame job right there from Arentz, too, trying to peel it back. 2-2 now. See you later. Tommy Sommer, just like the first, ends the second with a strikeout. 6 up, 6 down for the German left-hander. And guess who's coming up in just a bit? The big fella, Donald Lutz. Alongside Stephen Brock, Rick Caserta welcoming you back to Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Tucson. Another gorgeous day Here on day 2 of the Tucson qualifiers, Donald Lutz is leading things off here for Team Germany. And the big first baseman takes a letter-high strike. Lutz, I think you can make the argument that China was pitching around him early. He got nothing to hit. He walked twice. He was hit by a pitch. And then he unloaded a 2-run homer into the bullpen and right in the 7th. And somehow Lutz drops down a spot in the order, goes from 6 to 7 here today.
I know. I think this is going to be a big deal here today. Yesterday we had the wind blowing in, and Lutz still managed to get that homer out. Today blowing straight out to right field. Not a day as a left-handed pitcher that you want to pitch inside of those lefties.
I was just about to ask you, do you at that point basically stay away from the inside part of the plate?
Oh yeah, I think pitching to the the field is very important. I don't think, obviously you're going to have to show inside in order to open up outside, but it's more going to be for show than for anything else. You're not going to stay in there.
Good spot from Sawayama. Lutz takes a look at strike 2. Donald Lutz has been a mainstay for Team Germany. At one point was their number 3 hitter back in the 2017 qualifiers. Still swinging it at 36. And it's tipped and grabbed by Carmo. Nice job to secure that strikeout. Sawayama's first here to open the 2nd.
Yeah, good job just setting him up for that fastball. Trying to actually go away. Ended up being a little bit low and in. Maybe got away with one there. But when you're executing well, guys aren't feeling as comfortable in the box, and you'll get away with some of those.
Team Germany did not participate in the first 2 World Baseball Classics. I told you yesterday that they hosted qualifying events in Regensburg. But going back to the last 3 qualifying events, a combined 3-6. So to get off the ground with a win yesterday is certainly a positive sign for the Deutschland.
And, tomorrow they got to play Colombia in the nightcap. And so winning this game today, going 2-0, you put yourself in a really, really good spot. You get to see if you can stack up against the juggernaut that is Team Colombia in this tournament.
Arendt's taking all the way. A couple of plate appearances yesterday. A walk, a run, a strikeout. That run coming as a pinch runner for Yannick Walter. As Giannotto hugging the line at 3rd. And that changeup flutters away, now 3-1.
We were talking about that before the game. How often has it happened that a catcher has been taken out and been pinch run for by a different catcher who's 10 years his senior? You don't see that.
We make things up as we go here in the WBC qualifiers. But one thing I'm noticing, Sawayama getting into some deep counts. Remember, he loaded the bases in the 1st inning, but got the aforementioned Yannick Walter to fly out to right. He got Lutz on a 2-2. Now he's got a 3-2 on the way to Arendt's. Sawayama fires. And there is his 2nd walk. Here's a look ahead at what's to come in the Tucson qualifiers. Tonight, Colombia and China, as Colombia looks to improve to 2-0. And then our 3rd and final day of doubleheaders coming tomorrow with China and Brazil getting us started. That game will also be simulcast on MLB Network. The off day Wednesday, which I know Stephen Brault is looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
And then Thursday, the 2nd and 3rd place game to decide the 2nd and final team for the World Baseball Classic. Alex Schmidt pulls back the bunt, ball 1.
This German team has an identity on the offensive side. They are finding themselves deep in at-bats very often yesterday and already so far today.
Alex Schmidt, much more than a fielder. He smacks one into left. 2nd hit for Germany. And once again, they've got clutter on the bases.
Yeah, yesterday Schmidt obviously played great defense, but he also went 1 for 2. He had 2 RBIs and a walk. So starting off the day here today with a sharp line drive through the left side. Just a fastball left out up over the plate and extends the hands. It's a beautiful swing right there. Nice sound.
So now I ask you, former left-handed pitcher, when you're Sawayama and you don't have an electric arm, how slim is that margin for error with your fastball inside? Because right there you saw it and Schmidt was all over.
So I was always told, as a lefty who needs to get in on righties, that the whole idea is to never miss over the plate. If you miss in. You can hit guys, that's fine. You just want to make sure that you're not letting guys get their hands extended on that pitch, which is what happened right there. And we also saw it yesterday with righties going the opposite way. You want to make sure that you're making them feel that pitch inside. And sometimes that means you got to go off the plate inside on purpose.
Sawayama had a great qualifier 3 years ago. But so far today, stumbling through this very tough German lineup, already batting a second time here in the second with Eric Brank. And going back to Steven's point, coming up in the Pirates organization, they love pitching inside.
Oh, yeah.
Brank popped out weakly to second his first time. Good stop by Carmo. And Eric Brank still trying to get off the schneid. Now 0 for 6 with his pop-up to open up the first inning.
You know, there was a time with the Pirates where there were rules about pitching inside in the minor leagues. You know, it was a little bit more strict when I was coming up.
Sawayama after the mound visit. And that's a great change. Probably his best offering up to this point. And Brank's down in the count 1-2.
We've seen some weak ground balls on that pitch. We've seen some swings and misses on that pitch. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to it here. Brank's going to have to sit back and try to go the other way.
Sawayama quick to the plate. And again, Carmo's there to keep it close. He's only 21 years old. But we showed you what he did in the 2022 WBC qualifier. Closing out Brazil's 4-1 win over Nicaragua with a 2-inning save. Actually retired former Major League player Cheslor Cuthbert a couple of times.
That sounds like a made-up name.
2-2. And it's up high for ball 3. I remember Cheslor mostly with the Royals.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Sawayama had his first taste of this international experience when he was still a teenager.
Yeah, and he really hasn't played anywhere else professionally. It's interesting. I love seeing guys like this, guys that get this opportunity, because maybe they don't have the flashy tools that make them, you know, somebody that pro teams really want to scoop up. That doesn't mean they're not a good pitcher. And so competitions like these, guys get an opportunity to pitch against competition that they wouldn't normally get. And so this is fun to watch.
Another 3-2 from Sawayama. Brank twirls it foul. So Brank is now the 10th hitter up at the plate for Germany. And this is the third 3-2 count from Sawayama. Which again, given the pitch limitations, not what you want. Field back looking for 2. Rents in front of Schmidt. And how about Brank fighting off another one, dragging out this encounter with Sawayama.
So when you don't have the high velocity, something that hitters can do if they commit to it, which is what Brank is doing right now, is just to sit off speed and fight off a fastball, because you know you're going to be able to at least catch up to it and clip it. So I think he's still looking off speed. If Sawayama can bury that in, he'll be good.
Pitch number 8 freezes Brank. Let's get another look at this one. Brank didn't really argue too much, but thought initially might have been a touch low. We'll get another look right here.
That's just a well-executed pitch.
That's dead red.
Yeah, and that's how you can take advantage of a guy who's trying to look off speed. If you can bury that fastball on the inside corner, he's looking out over the plate. That looks like it's going to be a ball the whole time.
Lou Helmig, old school, no batting gloves, just flesh and bone at the plate. Ball 1. Rolled out to third, where Hejinato made the play. Rents at second, Schmidt at first. Germany left them loaded in the first. And a good secondary lead by Arentz. You can see him scrambling up there on your screen with the shortstop Ito right there in front of you. Now watch Arentz right here, because Sawayama really hasn't checked back a whole lot. You'll see him shuffle in just a bit. There it is. And there's a strike.
You know, Brank and Helmig at the top of the lineup yesterday when it combined 1 for 10. And today, so far, have not really been a part of this offense yet. Would be huge for Helmig. He did end up with an RBI single late in the game. Nice to see that here for him.
Good spot. Sawayama starting to pick up some steam. 2-2.
You see him staying away from Helmig. Helmick does kind of start moving towards first base on his step. So that outside corner, if you can continue to hit it, might be tough for him to get to.
Sawayama looking to survive the second, just like he did in the first. And he does. A busy inning, but he ends up striking out 3. And we go to the third with no score. Start of the third inning here in the Tucson qualifier between Germany and Brazil. Another reminder that these are the pitcher rest restrictions, which are now in effect for Brazilian left-hander Enzo Sawayama, who's now at 43 pitches. So we reminded you yesterday, and we'll tell you once again, especially for those of you watching on MLB Network, once you hit that 50 pitch mark, you are done for this tournament. So Sawayama getting close, Tommy Somer nowhere.
In the field that you could fall into running for a foul ball down the line.
You know what? That's a great idea. I think it's story time with Professor Brault.
Hello, everybody. My name is Professor Stephen Brault. Brazil is the 5th largest country in the world by land area. It is a huge country, comprises 60% of the Amazon rainforest, 130,000 plant and animal species, and of course 5 FIFA World Cup titles. No other national team has more. I remember when I was young, when I was a kid growing up, getting into the international football scene, and Ronaldinho was the coolest player in all of international football. I absolutely loved it. Got me into it.
And he was the guy that really brought that flair to international soccer, was wearing the bright cleats, had the hair and the dreads. And they're still working on the field. More about Brazil, by the way. For the first time in the history of this national team, they have an all-Brazilian coaching staff.
Yeah.
Which is a great testament to how the sport has grown within the country. Of course, like we said, soccer obviously takes the forefront, but baseball's on the rise in Brazil.
Yeah, baseball's been in Brazil for a very long time, but it actually lost some steam because of cycling and soccer that really took the forefront of the sports that were most focused on there. And even today, most of baseball in Brazil is focused in the city of Sao Paulo. Pretty much every big team is in Sao Paulo. There's a few teams on the outskirts in different towns, but Sao Paulo is the baseball mecca for Brazil, and it continues to grow every year.
With more on Team Germany, once again, we go back to Professor Stephen Brault.
Oh, man, here we go. I've been to Germany once, actually. I went when I was in high school. It's a beautiful place. Population of over 84 million, second largest in Europe. That looks like Rothenburg, which I actually went to. The capital in the city is Berlin, of course, home to more bridges than Venice, which is crazy to think about. And Oktoberfest held annually in Munich, the largest folk festival in the world. Everybody knows about Oktoberfest. There are many, wannabes all over the world, but there is nowhere like Oktoberfest in Munich. Had a lot of friends. I have not had the opportunity, but that's on the bucket list.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
So you were in Germany once, Steve?
I don't know, 2008.
Okay.
I was touring with my high school choir. We sang in Germany a few different places. We sang in Austria a few different places.
Was that your first time being away from home at that point?
Yeah, it was. And then since then, I've pretty much been away from home my entire adult life. Yeah. It is a different experience. And these guys from Germany, I kind of went over this yesterday, but they've played all over the world. Baseball in Germany is a growing thing, just like in Brazil. They have a larger league than Brazil, but they have also changed this year to the German Baseball Liga, changed the name from the Bundesliga, trying to expand it even more.
So in all my years calling baseball, normally it's the mound or home plate, which focuses a lot of the groundskeeper's time. But in this case, it's a busted sprinkler head cover, which has caused this lengthy delay. And I got to tell you, if you're Tommy Somer, this has to be annoying because it completely throws off his rhythm.
It does, and you got to find out what you have to do to get ready while you wait for this to be fixed. And, unfortunately, it doesn't really look like there's an immediate solution here. And so Somer's going to have to, re-warm up. He might even go sit down here.
I don't think Jendrik Spear's too happy as he comes out from the German dugout. Jendrik, 44 years old. Both managers 44 years old. Here's Germany. We touched on it. 3-6 in their last 3 qualifying appearances. Now, I want to focus on 2013 specifically because they were ranked number 17 going into that qualifiers, same ranking as they have here in Tucson, and every game was a blowout. They beat Great Britain and the Czech Republic 16-1. They lost to 6th-ranked Canada in the semifinals 16-7. Then again in the final 11-1. So far today we've got a scoreless game going into the 3rd, and we're still waiting on this 3rd inning to begin as that sprinkler head cover continues to be worked on. I've seen some weird delays. I've never seen one like this, and now Team Germany is finally coming off the field.
Yeah, last year in Arizona they had the bee delay. They got super famous. This is the
squirrels. I've seen
squirrels, yes.
Skunks.
Drain delay is new. Drain delay that's a different one. Never really seen that before. But it is important because you can't just leave a hole on the side of the field.
We'll take a quick timeout as they continue to tend to the field here in Tucson. Here are your standings for the Tucson qualifier after yesterday's opening day action. We got started with Team Germany taking down China 12-2 in 7 innings because of the mercy rule, and then in the nightcap, Team Colombia tidied things up with a 5-0 win over Brazil. So those are your standings, and then of course later tonight we've got China and Colombia. As for Team Brazil, just like Germany did not participate in the first 2 WBCs, their lone qualifying appearance came in 2013. We talked about that last night when Barry Larkin was still the manager from 2012 to 2016. Unfortunately, they were bounced in round 1 going 0-3. 3-4 in their last 2 qualifiers. And 2022 particularly painful for them, Steven, because they lost their last 2 games against Panama and Nicaragua. Nicaragua just edging them in that final qualifying game 3-2 to punch their tickets to the Classic.
Yeah, and this year they're trying to do things a little bit differently. Well, as you mentioned earlier, the coaching staff being all Brazilian is something new for this team, trying to keep more of a team atmosphere throughout this tournament, but also a lot of Major League experience there, especially in Rienzo and Paulo Orlando, guys that have been there. They have been to the place that these guys want to be, and they know how to win baseball games. And like we said before, the pitching staff has been the focus for Brazil. And they're going to have to play some small ball here, just like they tried to do yesterday against Colombia. But, I mean, Julio Teheran was too good yesterday. Sometimes you're just going to run into a buzzsaw of a pitcher, and there's only so much you can do.
That was a pleasure to watch, and we spoke about it after the game. I think we might have even touched on it during the game, how effortless it looked for Julio Teheran at 34 years old. We'll show you what he did in just a moment, as we've got more people huddling around this busted sprinkler head cover, which is not a good sign. Early on it was one groundskeeper. Now we've got the umpires and we've got a couple of other unidentified gentlemen trying to tend to this thing. Mentioned Julio Teheran, and he brought the goods last night, partner.
I mean, he looked fantastic. He was just all over the zone. He didn't relent at any time. He didn't give away any free passes. He made them put the ball in play, and Team Brazil, unfortunately, just really couldn't get anything going. Their first hit wasn't until the 5th inning, and it was a bunt by Vitor Ito, which actually we never really discussed. There's always a lot of back and forth about breaking up no-hitters with a bunt. We talked about it last night after the game. There we go. We got a celebration.
You know what? I'm going to even stand
in. Yeah, there we go.
Well done, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
I don't know what finally solved the problem, but we are back and ready to roll here in the 3rd inning. He's Steven Brault. I'm Greg Caserta. Great job by our entire crew to get us through this rather lengthy delay. And hopefully it doesn't affect Tommy Sommer too much, because so far the lefty for Germany 6 up, 6 down on just 25 pitches.
Yeah, just going in and out really well, keeping hitters uncomfortable, getting weak contact. I mean, he does have a few strikeouts as well, so not to take that away from him. But what we've seen so far from Sommer is pretty much what Sawayama is trying to do on the other side. He has also gotten 2 scoreless innings, but it has been a lot more difficult for him. 5 base runners already for Team Germany. But on the other side, Brazil once again, now 2 more innings that they've started this game hitless without a base runner. Yesterday, their first base runner was the first batter of the game, but it was on an error. And so you got to find ways to get on base, to get something going so that you can try something. You can try your bunts, you can try your hit and runs when you got people on base, but you got to get there first.
What would have been your move right here if you're Tommy Sommer? You just had to come off the field. Would that have affected your ramp up when you go back for your 2nd round of warm-ups?
I don't think necessarily. I do think it helps that he's not a power pitcher. He's not having to go out and get, back up to 98 again. This is a guy who's going to be, he pitches at, I would say it looks like about 85% effort. It's not a full 100% effort pitch. So I think if there's somebody who can handle it well, like the rolling down the grass there, that was handled well. That's something that Tommy Sommer, I think, can be somebody who can do that.
Tommy Sommer warming up with Winston Arentz behind the plate. And it allows us to remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Inc. and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. 2006, the inaugural WBC, Japan winning gold, and all smiles. They won the last one, rolling into the championship in 2023. That brilliant ending of that game when Shohei Ohtani struck out Mike Trout. A moment that many will remember for a long time. And now we're back to work. He's Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta. Let's get moving here in the third. Ball one to Gabriel Carmo. Carmo from Marília, Brazil, just 20 years old. Actually debuted in France in their Division I back in 2018. And it's 2-0, and that's really the story here, Stephen, with a lot of these international players. Their pro careers start when they should still be in high school.
Oh, yeah, and you start wherever you can find it. You see, starting in France, we've seen guys having their start in China, obviously in the Bundesliga in Germany.
Big cut by Carmo, who was Brazil's starting catcher in the Pan American Games in Chile 2 years ago. They actually took home silver, their first ever baseball medal in a Pan Am Games.
And they played well. They played against a lot of teams. They beat Japan for the first time in international tournament play. Big things for Team Brazil.
2-1. And this is what I worried about with Tommy Somer having to wait all this time. First time he's been in a 3-ball count. We have 3 Gabriels in this Brazil lineup. Gabriel Maciel on deck. And that one's right there. Carmo taking all the way. Now, Tommy Somer, I mentioned his 4-year career at Indiana from 2018 to 2021. One of his teammates there was Guardians reliever Tim Herron. He was lights out last year in Cleveland's bullpen, a 1.92 ERA. Payoff pitch. Chopper, left side. Here's Schmidt. Always smooth, always nifty. Run away.
That's a good job getting back. Like you said, there's going to be a little bit of difficulty no matter what after a long break like that. But Somer able to find himself back in the zone, get that weak ground ball to your defensive all-star shortstop and Alex Schmidt.
Gabriel Maciel, 0 for 3 in last night's loss to Colombia. Shows bunts and takes a big looping curve for a strike.
I love that pitch. Stealing a strike on the first pitch with a big curveball against a righty. You start that off the plate, let it be big and slow, and they just can't pull the trigger.
Up through Eric Brink's attention at third. Same thing with Lutz at first. And now Somer's back on track. Now, if you go back last night, Gabriel Maciel was involved in a rather big play in last night's loss to Colombia. He was picked off at first to end the 6th inning. At that time, they were only down 2-0.
Yeah, and Ito had that bunt single gone on first. He was a put out and a fielder's choice, and so that brought Maciel to first base, and you know, it was a really nice pickoff move. Turan was quick,
yes,
very quick.
And then in the 7th inning, they had 2nd and 3rd with 1 away, and Lucas Ramirez was thrown out at the plate on a ground ball. Another chance for Schmidt. Why not? Show off. 2 down.
This is what it's going to be today. I mean, you're going to, if you're Somer, this is exactly how you want this game to go. You want balls on the ground to the left side. I mean, that is a great way to live when you've got defense that you can count on over there.
So when you look at this as a pitcher, you've retired 8 in a row. You've got 5 ground ball outs. Is it safe to say you know your stuff's playing?
Yeah, you're feeling pretty good now. Yeah, and you're starting to get into a groove. You're starting to get comfortable. That's why you see so many first pitch strikes from Somer. Not only that, but well located first pitch strikes. Not just down the middle, but down, low and in, low and away. It's making people have to try to get to a pitch that they're not going to be able to do any damage with anyway.
And at what point does the panic start to settle in if you're Brazil and you're looking at this and you're now approaching 12 innings without a run?
You gotta change something up. There has to be maybe a little bit more aggression in their swings. Maybe try to do some damage. Try to open up your hips and get going. But that kind of looks like what he did there. Unfortunately, that well-placed breaking ball from Somer just kind of equalizes the big swings.
Just got a nice 3-pitch mix. And he is looking to go through the order one time perfectly. Strikeouts to end the 1st and 2nd. Not quite here in the 3rd.
I'm a bit interested. Sommer's been shaking with his glove, I think, instead of with his head. And he makes a movement with his glove when he wants to rotate through the signs.
Well, there it is. Great job by our cameraman, 2-2. And it works. Don't change it. Strikeouts to end the first, second, and third. Tommy Sommer, perfect against Brazil. A look at all the countries represented. This was on last year's opening day rosters, and even 700 from the United States, followed by the Dominican Republic with 108, one from Brazil, one from Germany. China not represented. Colombia's got a few. We'll see them later tonight. Lucas Dunn called for a strike. Pitch clock violation there.
Number 4. That's 4 so far in the tournament.
Dunn was hit by a pitch in the first inning.
Have they all been hitter pitch clock violations? Have we had a...
Oh, that was actually...
that was
okay.
pitcher.
That was on Sawayama, so Dunn already up in the count, 2-0. And he strokes one out to center field. Maciel right there, comes in a step. And there's one man down.
The beauty of a two-seam fastball, just a little bit of run there, done right on that pitch, but because there's just a little bit of movement away from him, just off the barrel, off the end of the bat, and that's how you get a weak fly ball instead of a ball driven in the gap.
Here's Simon Baumgart, who we touched on after his first inning single, has yet to be retired in this WBC qualifier. Somebody better turn off Lady Gaga. Strike one. Baumgart has now been on base in all 6 plate appearances, 3 hits, 3 walks. And of course, he's the one that drew that bases loaded walk to end yesterday's game. Rips a foul off the tarp, and he's quickly down in the count, 0-2.
And Baumgart, a guy who just, he has really good at bats. You know, he's earned every walk he's had. He hasn't had any 4-pitch walks.
Takes that one up high. Tanner Moore says no swing. You got Casey James calling the balls and strikes. Wilfredo Montoya at second base. Trevor Daniger at third base. As Sawayama throws his 50th, and his tournament will start and end right here against Germany.
Yeah, if you throw between 30 and 50 pitches, you could still be good to go for that championship game on Thursday. But that's going to be it for Sawayama. So now I see how long he can go.
Trying to spot the soft stuff. 2-2 on Baumgart, who I told you yesterday spent a year at Notre Dame for his graduate season. Last look at this pitch. Definitely low. Good take. And Baumgart finally taken care of, and quietly Enzo Sawayama's racked up 4 punch-outs.
I'm disappointed. I thought he was never going to get out. But that was a good pitch. Well executed fastball in the inside corner. Breaking ball, actually, getting in there. Started up a little bit high, and you see that hesitation, right? When you start a breaking ball above the zone, it looks like a fastball ball out of the hand, and you can't get that swing off. You end up hesitating and being late on a pitch that ends up not being a fastball anyway.
We have just witnessed another sub-70 curveball. That one clocked at 64 from Sawayama. Now he speeds it up. That's a hard one at 76.
I threw a few sub-70 curveballs in my day.
On purpose?
Oh, yeah. Stealing strikes from righties, man.
That's a good question. Where did they land? 0-2. Checked up, fastball 1 and 2.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think I actually ever gave up a hit on my slow curveball. I used it very sparingly, as you have to, right? Sure. It's a pitch just to show people that you can steal a strike, but you don't use it a lot.
Would it be once a start?
Yeah, a few times, 4 or 5.
1-2. Fastball beautifully spotted. Enzo Sawayama starting to rack up a couple of more Ks. He's retired 5 in a row. Still no score here in Tucson. You never know who's going to stop by a WBC qualifier. Outside, one of the greatest women's tennis players of all time, Steffi Graf. And inside, there he is, hand on his chin, the 8-time Grand Slam winner, Andre Agassi, here to watch their son, Jaden, take the mound. Former USC Trojan deals outside for ball 1. Jaden hails from Las Vegas, 23 years old. He's able to pitch for Germany because his mother, Steffi Graf, born in Mannheim, Germany. So what a cool moment for them to watch their son here on the international stage.
Yeah, and Jaden always been a baseball guy. Never got into the tennis thing, which is kind of crazy to think about. But, you know, he's had a weird career because of the timing of his career. 2019, he got hurt in high school, so he missed that season. Then, of course, you missed 2020 because nobody played. And so everything's been kind of pushed back for him. But he did really well in the draft league. And so he's looking to get signed. This is a tryout for professional teams for Jaden Agassi.
Has to be nerve-wracking. Parents always say that watching their kids play. 3-1 coming. And he walks Gabriel Gomez on 5. And that right there is Brazil's first base runner, because Tommy Somer was perfect over 3 innings. He had a strikeout to end each of his 3 innings and only needed 39 pitches to mow down Brazil and record those 9 outs.
And that's some fun strategy right there. You take him out then before he gets to 50 pitches. Now he's going to be available if they need to in that championship game on Thursday. So we can expect to see him again, Somer again, on Thursday.
Here's a chopper through the right side. Lucas Ramirez with a base hit. Gomez makes his turn. Throw comes in. And he's in there at third base. And Brazil gets into the bullpen, and they got first and third with nobody out.
Lucas Ramirez, the only person on Brazil with multiple hits so far in the tournament. Got one yesterday, gets himself here one today. And that's just really unfortunate for Agassi. You executed your pitch perfectly. You got a good result. But with Lutz holding on at first base, no chance of getting that easy bounder through the hole.
That's legacy on legacy crime right there. Manny Ramirez's boy with a base hit off Steffi Graf and Andre Agassi's son. And for the first time, Brazil's got life. First and third, nobody out for their most dangerous hitter, Leonardo Reginado. Strike one.
Good pitch right there to get. You know, Reginado was going to come out and be aggressive on that pitch. I like the slider there. Very well located, which also helps.
Jaden Agassi, 3 years at USC. His final year in 2023. And he's jumped ahead of Reginado 0-2. A chance to play at SoCal. 40 games, 19 starts. Finished his college career 5-4 with an ERA of 6.20. Well, like Steven said, 6 starts last summer in the draft league from Mahoning Valley, had a 2.96 ERA, so upped his stock and is now trying to get out of this jam here in the fourth. Great stop by Arentz, but now the runner coming home. Great read on the dirt ball by Gomez. And for the first time here in Tucson, Brazil is on the board.
What a fantastic read. That ball bouncing forward away from Arentz. Not a bounce you see very often. I mean, you couldn't even advance from first to second because that's going to be a tough play. But a great read because nobody's going to be able to get back to home plate. So that's going to be clearly wide open. That's really solid baseball from Brazil. The best baseball we've seen them play so far.
So the run is in. Brazil has shown the world that they can score. And Gabriel Gomez, who just came in, the DH here today, knows how that play works because he is a catcher by trade. Great stuff from Gabriel Gomez. And Reginado still battling at 2-2.
Tell you what, you can feel a big swing in momentum here at the stadium with the fans, with the teams themselves. Germany's got to shut this down here. Double play would be very helpful in that regard.
Ramirez with a short lead at first. Agassi fires, and again, Arentz knocks it down. But the count goes to 3-2, so Agassi scuffling here out of the gate.
Agassi bouncing a few of these sliders. Arentz definitely getting his work in.
12 pitches, only 5 strikes for the right-hander. Closes off his set. Runner goes, pitch down, no throw. 3 batters, 2 walks, a single, and Brazil's got first and second now with nobody out.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. You just got to find ways to get traffic on the bases, and then you can use your speed to try to disrupt the timing and concentration of the pitcher Agassi. 13 pitches, unable to get an out so far. But if you think about that ground ball he got through the right side from Lucas Ramirez, this inning could be completely different. That could have been an easy double play ball. Instead, ends up being a single, getting Gomez from first to third, and now everything looks scary with first and second, nobody out.
And how many times did we say it yesterday, Steven, where if you chop one off the dirt around home plate, you got a really good shot to get that ball through.
Absolutely. That dirt in front of home plate, very hard. A lot of spin getting picked up.
Field back behind the runners. Agassi looking for the grounder. Softly hits a second. Baumgart feeds second, just on the bag for Schmidt. That was an off-balance throw, a close play, but Schmidt hangs on, and they force out Reginado for out number 1.
That's a huge out there, especially to get that out at second, because you keep the double play in order. So good choice there by Baumgart to go to second base. A little bit iffy on the throw, but Schmidt, a great stretch from second. He converted from a shortstop to a first baseman there really quick.
Dante Bichette Jr. over at first on the fielder's choice. And now this one smacked deep left center. Back it goes, and it's down for a hit. Lucas Hoju drives in a run. Bichette stopped at third. Brazil's got some pop and a 2-0 lead.
What a great swing. That's what we have not seen from Brazil yet. really driving a ball in the gap. That's the most power we've seen. Short hopping the wall out there in left center. And unfortunately, Agassi just can't find the command. So this pitch right here left over the middle of the plate. Good short swing right to the ball. See that Brazilian dugout immediately celebrating off the bat. They knew that one was in the gap.
Last night against Colombia, 3 hits and no runs. Here in the 4th against Jaden Agassi and Germany, 2 hits and 2 runs. And suddenly, Germany staring down the barrel. 1st and 3rd for Maskai with only 1 away. And he smacks it through the right side. There's a base hit. Bichette is in. Hoju scores no problem because Walter juggled it in right field. 2 more in. 4-0 Brazil.
Just not wasting any time. Get a pitch you like early. Unfortunately, Agassi not able to really go to that breaking ball very well because he's been bouncing it so much and he's had runners on third. And so you're kind of starting to get a little bit nervous about using that pitch. So you go with the fastball again, and this one, once again, just left up and over the plate. An aggressive swing, making sure you're not late. Love seeing a lefty pull the ball to right field. Just looks right.
Ramirez bled one through for Brazil's first hit. The last 2 by Hoju and Maskai have been squared up. And now 4 runs are in. Still only 1 man out. Carmo, the 7th batter, pulls back on the bunt. With a left-hander starting to play catch in Germany's bullpen, it's Jordan Martinson getting loose now. 2 walks from Agassi have come back to bite him. Another bunt attempt. That one nearly clipped Carmo.
I like this idea from Brazil here. You already have your 4 runs. You've had a great inning so far. Maybe you get a bunt, you get the runner over to second base and look for another hit and try to get that to 5, because you never know. This German offense has been asleep so far.
Big hole on the right side. That one is tipped, and it caroms into the seats. The bunt attempt by Carmo was glanced off of Arence's mid and ended up about 3 rows behind Germany's dugout.
That was quite a bounce, huh?
You a pinball guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I always played that pinball game on my computer, you know, before we had internet.
Minesweeper and the like?
Oh, yeah. I'm not smart enough to play Minesweeper.
That punt successful. Back to the mound for Agassi. Nice tender throw to get Carmo, who's out on the sacrifice. And Mascai's up to second after his 2 RBI single a moment ago.
My entire life, I thought Minesweeper was just luck. You know, I had no idea that there was strategy to it.
I could never figure it out. I was more of a hearts guy.
Ooh.
My grandfather taught me to play hearts. And this game of chess is now on Brazil's side. 4 runs across here in the 4th. And we'll see if they go to the bullpen. Yeah, that bullpen door swung open right away. And it's going to be left-hander Jordan Martinson on his way in to finish things off. Here's what happened in the first WBC qualifiers from Taipei. It was a fun one. Great job by our colleagues Tyler Maughan and Ryan Roland Smith. Chinese Taipei and Nicaragua advancing. Jaden Agassi unable to advance beyond the 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Faced 7 batters and gave up 4 earned runs on 3 hits, a couple of walks sprinkled in. And Jordan Martinson, who secured the last 2 outs in the 7th inning yesterday against China, pitching once again here today. Quickly behind on Gabriel Maciel, 2-0. So here in the 4th for Brazil, you had the wild pitch, which brought in the first run. And then the big blow, the 2 RBI single from Victor Mascai. This one struck well. The berm in left field, 2-1. Another reminder that it was Nicaragua and Chinese Taipei advancing. Nicaragua with that thrilling win over South Africa in Game 1. Took care of Chinese Taipei 6-0. And then the final, which we'll see here on Thursday, the 2nd and 3rd place matchup to decide the 4th and final team going to next year's World Baseball Classic. Martinson yesterday in his 2/3 of an inning got 2 flyouts to center, but also hit a batter and allowed a single. 3-1 breaker really took out the third base coach. 3-2.
By the way, that final game between Chinese Taipei and Spain was an incredible baseball game.
It was.
Back and forth, lead changes, some great plays, big homers. Some athleticism down the third baseline as well.
Ronaldo Sato getting out of the way of that in that third base coach's box for Brazil. And that back foot slider nearly caught the back foot of Maciel. It's the 3rd walk of the inning for Brazil, and now Ito comes up as the 9th man at the plate.
Yeah, the beginning of this inning started right at the top of the order, and they did not take their time. Brazil finding a way to get 4 across and still threatening here with 2 outs. Now in the 9 hole. Martinson hit 1 guy yesterday, has 1 walk today.
Big swing by Ito.
But getting out of this here, keeping this lead at 4. This Team Germany offense hasn't gotten going yet, but they've had base runners other than last inning. Plenty of time to come back from this. But you want to keep it as close as possible.
Ito struck out to end the 3rd. Nice curve from Martinson. He's jumped ahead 0-2. Told you about Martinson yesterday, a Bedford, Texas native, now 27 years old. Was originally drafted by the Mets in 2019, but he didn't sign. And then later signed with the Dodgers as an undrafted free agent. And he strikes out Ito, who goes down looking. A big inning for Brazil. They just poured it on. 9 men came to the plate. Hoju, RBI double. Mascai, 2 RBI single. Tongues out, 4-0 Brazil. You don't mind waiting a long time to pitch if your offense puts up 4 runs after being blanked 5-0 last night by Colombia. Brazil strikes in the top of the 4th. 4 runs on 3 hits. Senzo Sawayama starting to roll along. He's retired 5 in a row, 4 of them on strikeouts. Now we'll see if the delay affects him as he climbs up over the 50 pitch mark here. Strike 1 offering to Walter. Popped up. Back behind the plate. Carmo with plenty of room for out number 1.
That's a big first out after a long time sitting on the bench waiting. We had that delay with the drain. Then we had a 4-run big inning. He had a pitching change. Just been a long time since Sawayama has been out there on the mound. So for him to come out and be in the zone and get that quick first out, you know, that feels good for him.
Maybe he was just a little tired out of the gate. Maybe, unlike Steven Brault, he's not a morning person, because his first 2 innings did not start promisingly. But in the blink of an eye, he has retired 6 in a row. And now he's got 5 strikeouts in 3+. Bases loaded in the first, got out of that. First and second in the second, got out of that. But here's Donald Lutz with that big cut. And this was the big one yesterday in the 7th.
Just a great swing. Gets the foot down, barrel out in front. Didn't actually get all that. You can tell because he didn't sprint out of the box.
Oh, and he takes one off his big bicep. He wears it and gets aboard. Second hit batter for Sawayama. Like you said, Steven, not afraid to throw inside.
Yeah, and that's something that's going to happen sometimes. I hit a few lefties in my day as well. You try to get that sinker running in on the hands, and you just started a little bit too close to him. And as lefties, you never react fast enough because that ball's barreling in on you. It's just something you don't see all that often as a left-hander, is a ball from a lefty coming into you. You know, you expect you're going to see a lot of sliders, fastballs away.
See a few of the Germans clapping in that first base dugout, knowing that Lutz wore one. He also was hit by a pitch yesterday. Wild swing by a wrench, strike 1.
I don't know how you say "we got ice" in German.
But I'm sure they were saying out
yeah,
before the end of the day. Arentz worked a walk in the second. Germany trying to come back from 4-0 down. They were never really in danger yesterday, even though China scored in the top of the first inning. Germany took over and, like we told you, eventually pulled away for a 12-2 7-inning mercy rule win.
Well, they took advantage of a lot of mistakes yesterday, and so far today they have not been able to do that. They had 3 base runners in the first. 2 of them were free passes with a hit by pitch and a walk. They had a walk and a single in the second, unable to take advantage of that threat. And so now here in the 4th with 1 out, you get a hit by pitch. And after giving up 4 runs, this is the time. You got to make sure that you can get this run across here to kind of switch the momentum to your side.
Sawayama's got his 6th strikeout. And it brings me to my next point, and that is early on, Steven, when we watched him in the first 2 innings, it seemed like the moment was too big for him. This does not look like a 21-year-old kid right now.
Not at all. He's just getting more and more comfortable as the game goes on. Lefties, righties, it doesn't matter. 6 strikeouts. And I think it's interesting that a few of them, he's got, you know, 2 looking as well. So he's hitting his spots. And he's getting inside. I think that's so important. That pitch right there, that's not a strike, but it doesn't have to be a strike.
He could not establish that inside corner early on.
Correct.
Now he's really leaning into it. Even though Schmidt singled off him his first time up. Just 2 hits for Germany after the onslaught yesterday. But that could be something that Germany looks to, just like Tommy Sommer coming out of the game after 3 perfect innings. They might be looking and saying, all right, once we get Sawayama out of here, now we can really open the floodgates.
Right, and he won't be in there too much longer, already at 66, so.
That magic 85 number fast approaching, and these are the types of at-bats that you just don't want. You struck out Arentz for your 6th K, and now you're behind on the number 9 hitter, 3-0.
Yeah, it's you know, look, it's a back and forth game. You're not always going to be perfect. If he can find his way back into this count, try to get Schmidt to roll over on a 3-1 pitch. I seriously doubt he's going to be swinging here.
Big hole on the right side. And Steven Brault's usually correct. There he is again. Now, Alex Schmidt, 25 years old, originally from Australia, but last season with Guggenberger in the Bundesliga in Germany, he was the league MVP. Hit an even 400, drove in 30 runs in 30 games, and this is why Germany's tough, because they still know how to work these at-bats.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. They have 2 hits right now, right? But they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 free passes off of Sawayama. They've worked some walks. They've got hit by some pitches. And, you know, this is what they need to do. And they got to the top of their order. You're hoping that Eric Brank is going to be able to break open right now. So far, 0 for 7 in these first 2 games. He's got 4 strikeouts. And this would be a huge moment for him to come through for this team in a big way.
So Andre Rienzo, the pitching coach, is out there. I'm eyeing that Brazil bullpen out in left field. This is just a visit to slow down Sawayama. You see the split of balls to strikes here. And boy, oh boy, if there was ever a time for Eric Brank, this is it right here.
Yeah, you got to break out here, do something big for your team. Team captain, leadoff spot. So far unable to really get anything going at the plate. This would be huge for him and the team.
Good to see that the porta potty's getting used.
Yeah, got to. But this Brazil team, they used 5 pitchers yesterday, right? So you want to get as much length as you can out of Sawayama. You hope he gets through this inning and give you another one.
That was Oscar Nakaoshi, the left-hander, getting loose in the pen. A hit batter and a walk for Sawayama here in the 4th. Pitch number 70 on the way to Eric Brank, 0 for 7 so far in this qualifier. Big spot for him. And after the mound visit, he takes ball 1.
I think it bears mentioning as well, we often talk about how you don't see sidearmers very much. You also don't see guys straight over the top very much. So this is a unique arm angle you just don't see very often anymore.
My comp for that has always been Aaron Seeley.
Oh, yeah.
Who was straight over the top. You just don't see that anymore, like Steven said. Just a different slot, different look.
And most guys somewhere in that 3/4 range.
Sawayama losing the zone. And this could be his final hitter, depending on how ready Nakaoshi is in the pen. His last few offerings haven't been close.
No. Maybe getting a little bit tired here. When you come back from a long break like that, it can really wear on you.
And how about that? A 4-pitch walk to a batter in Brank who is 0 for 7 with 4 strikeouts. And just like that, Lou Helmig is at the plate as the tying run.
Yeah, he brought the batting gloves back. Helmig yesterday found a way to break through.
And that is going to do it for Enzo Sawayama. It took him a little time, but eventually Brazil manager Yuichi Matsumoto is out of the dugout to make the pitching change and signal to the bullpen. From one lefty to another, Sawayama out, Nakaoshi in right after this. Germany applying pressure on Brazil. Brazil scored for 4 times in the top of the 4th inning. And now Germany's got the tying run at the plate in the form of Lou Helmig. But it's another lefty look. Oscar Nakaoshi out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, 33-year-old, who pitched in the Australian Baseball League with Adelaide this year. And put up good numbers, 11 games, 1-1, 1.23 ERA as a reliever. But Sawayama had his moments, 3 2/3, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, but the 4 walks and 2 hit batters killed him.
Yeah, killed the pitch count, but also just high-stress pitches. So you get tired faster when there are runners on base. When there's traffic on the bases, we call those high-stress pitches, and it really wears on you more than, say, nobody on, 2 outs.
Helmig on 2-0. And this is not going well for Team Brazil. They finally scored. They finally created a cushion. And they're making it way too easy for Germany to come back into this game.
Yes, but also you got to give credit to Germany for having such a consistent approach at the plate through the lineup.
10 walks yesterday. And there's number 5 here today. Second ribby for Lou Helmig, a bases-loaded walk. And now the tying runs are out there for Lucas Dunn.
And Nakaoshi, not a fan of that last call. Definitely close, but looked low.
You be the judge.
Look where that was. Yeah, I got that low. Just dropped out right at the last second. Good pitch doesn't always mean a strike.
Nakaoshi comes in, misses with 4 pitches, and I think Brazil might be clapping back at plate umpire Casey James a little bit. Here's Lucas Dunn. Big swing, was looking for the lead right there. And Nakaoshi has his first strike. Dunn, you see right there, hit by a pitch in the first, flat out to center in the 3rd. He's got Schmidt at 3rd, Brink at 2nd, Helmig the tying run at 1st. And it's bounced foul outside of 1st, 0-2.
You know, I think a lot of people would rightfully question, you know, why is he so aggressively swinging after there's been so many free passes? Nakaoshi comes in, walks a guy on 4 pitches with the bases loaded, and you come out swinging the first pitch. I don't hate the aggression, but now you got to battle.
Nakaoshi's battled plenty for Brazil. Good stop by Carmo. In the last WBC qualifier, he pitched 3 times against New Zealand and Nicaragua. And he was big for them in the 2013 WBC, both in the qualifying round and in the main tournament. He was the losing pitcher against Japan. A 5-3 loss. Broken bat roller to short. Ito's got it to 2nd for the out. And Brazil survives with just the 1 run across. Germany gets one back. It's 4-1 through 4. Mountaintop views and stunning backdrops here in We're coming to you live from Keno Veterans Memorial Stadium. Not too far from the downtown area. Greg Caserta, Stephen Brault, producer Mike Trainer, and the rest of our great crew. Second straight day of doubleheaders, but our first game here on MLB Network. So for those of you watching, we appreciate you joining us. 4-1 game. Brazil did not score last night, and they've been hanging on for this lead because Germany's squandered opportunities, leaving the bases loaded in the first and the fourth.
A lot of free passes in this game, only 5 hits. There have been a lot of base runners.
I will say this, that zone's tightening behind the plate. Gomez leading things off just like he did in the fourth. That's where Brazil did all their damage against Jaden Agassi. And Martinson, like you said, he made a great point, partner, because he pitched yesterday and now he's into this territory here today. This will be his final appearance of this qualifier.
You cannot pitch 2 days in a row, or sorry, you cannot pitch 3 days in a row. So now that he's thrown 2 days in a row, he'll have to take tomorrow off. If they get to Thursday, he will be available.
Gomez led things off with a walk. He scored the first run on a wild pitch, and he just gave that at bat away. Martinson threw ball 4, but Gomez chases for out number 1.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do as a pitcher is give the guy the pitch they're looking for in a location that they can't get to it. So sitting fastball, I mean, that's a huge mistake by Martinson, but a much bigger mistake by Gomez not being able to hold up.
And Martinson's trying to do exactly what he did in the last qualifiers when he didn't allow a run against South Africa and the Czech Republic. That one nearly caught Ramirez.
Saw him hit a lefty yesterday.
So no runs allowed against China in 2/3 of an inning. Martinson trying to get through this fifth, but Germany's still well within striking distance. Ramirez had Brazil's first hit, that bouncing ball through the right side. So he's now 2 for 6 in the 2 games. You can hear the dugouts starting to get louder too downstairs.
Oh yeah.
Pressure ratcheting up. There's Manny. Big swing. Curveball tipped back foul. Now, we did notice last night, watching one of those at-bats, that Manny was locked in, standing outside the suite. And as soon as Lucas struck out, he went right back inside. So let's see what Manny does here, depending on the outcome of this AB.
I mean, that's how my dad would have reacted as well. You know, just like, nah, man, come on. You're better than that.
Manny always plugged in. The pitch to Lucas. Good take, 3-2.
I do like Lucas Ramirez's approach. He has a very short swing, much like his dad. The swing looks big because there's a long follow-through, but the time actually to the ball is very quick.
I think somebody told Manny we're talking about him right now.
Yeah, maybe.
3-2, soft tapper off the plate, going to be a tough play. The pitcher takes it. Martinson wins the foot race. There is going to be a collision somewhere, but Martinson takes it himself. Manny goes back inside. And we'll get back into the coolness of the suites up here in Tucson.
The good old 1U. You don't see that very often. Actually, we were taught if you're going to be running over to have to make that play as a pitcher, you might as well just pocket it and take it yourself. Just keep running through the bag. Lucas Ramirez there, I mean, that's the right choice. He slowed down. It would have been a really close play if he had run full speed through, but also, I mean, that's a real high injury risk there. So
also, if you bang into Donald Lutz, that's like running into a locomotive. Germany going to the bullpen. We're back right after this. 29-year-old Sven Schuler is the third reliever of the day for Team Germany out of Wuppertal. Took part in the MLB European Academy all the way back in 2012, and then the Dodgers took a flyer on him in 2013. He was in their organization up until 2019, made one appearance at AAA in 2018, so it's been around the block. Snaps it home, a called strike on Hejinato.
Yeah, a good sidewind approach. I like that arm angle. It's going to be tough for righties to pick up.
Hejinato today has walked and struck out. Look at that thing swivel in there. 2-1 after a perfect inning of relief, mostly for Jordan Martinson. Faced 4 batters, walked 1, and then retired the next 3 with a couple of strikeouts. So second straight WBC qualifier where he did not allow a run. Hejinato turns on this one, shoots it into the corner, but that ride's foul. And the count levels off 2-2.
Yeah, right there, Hejinato just kind of gets the barrel out in front just a little bit too early. Good contact from him, as we saw yesterday as well. But still, only one hitter in this Brazilian lineup has more than one hit so far in these 2 games. It's Lucas Ramirez.
Not bad for a kid. Soft grounder back to the mound. Pitcher's busy here for Team Germany, and Schuler's got it to end the inning. Halfway home here in Tucson. Enzo Sawayama had a cluttered day in his 3 2/3. 2 hits, 1 earned run, so mostly limiting the damage. But 4 walks, 2 hit batters, and 6 strikeouts. Really drove up his pitch count on a Kids Day here in Tucson. They're making noise as the bottom of the 5th begins. Strike 1 from Oscar Nakaoshi. They are rabid because they're still doing a in-between innings giveaway on the dugout where Germany is. There they are.
I love that costume.
No rules, just madness. Baumgart fouls it back 1-2. Simon had that single back in the first, struck out in the third. And he sends a soft roller towards Hejinato. He charges, he fires, no chance. Second single for Baumgart. What a tourney it's been.
And that is why we run out of the box. That's the second weekly hit single that Baumgart has in this game. As we said earlier, when it's going right for you, it's going very right for Baumgart right now. This play virtually impossible for Hejinato to be able to make.
Strong throw.
Strong throw, strong play in general, but Baumgart too fast.
And a good stretch by Dante Bichette, who's played a multitude of positions in his career. Came up as a third baseman. He's played a little outfield, but he's been at first First 2 games here for Brazil. 3 hits for Germany. Baumgart's got 2 of them. Sean Larry. Ball and a strike. He's walked and struck out.
You know, you never want to walk a bunch of people, of course. You know, Sawayama didn't look necessarily like everything was comfortable for him the entire game. But when you look at the stat line after it's all said and done, in a tournament play, especially like this, 3 2/3 innings, only 1 run, that's great.
I think anything over 3 you would live with.
Oh, yeah.
The pitch limitations here. Victor Mascai, very shallow in left field, and that's a nasty hook. Nakaoshi drops the curve on Larry, who's down looking for the 2nd time.
You know, I will say at this point that we've seen Team Germany really be patient a lot. It has led to a lot of strikeouts in this game specifically. They've gotten plenty of guys on the base paths with the free passes, the walks and the hit by pitches. However, we haven't seen them really go out and get the ball, be aggressive, get a good pitch early to hit. Just hasn't been working out for them yet today.
What you're saying is that they're being too selective.
A little too selective, a little too picky. Sometimes it's just about being aggressive, getting the barrel of the ball and seeing what happens.
Walter, just like that, base hit through the right side, and Baumgart is going to stop right there because Ramirez was shallow in right field. But Germany's doing it again. They have stranded 8 runners on the bases through the first 4 innings, and once again, they bring up the tying run to the plate.
Just pushing it right through the right side. Bichette covering first base. No chance for him to make that play. Nice little shot through there. It's a good approach. You got so much of the right side open to be able to take that, especially. Second baseman was moved over towards second base because the righty is up. The first baseman's covering first because the runner's there. There's so much room on that side of the field.
And how fitting is this? The one guy with a home run in this qualifier is in as the tying run. Big Donald Lutz who hit that 2-run blast into Germany's bullpen in right field yesterday. He's been on base quite a bit. Hit by a pitch for the 2nd time today. Big swing and a miss. Bottom dropped out of it. And Nakaoshi's got his breaking stuff working. It's 0-2.
Yeah, this is a big at bat here. Lutz going to have to be able to figure out if he's going to need to sit back or if he's going to have to try to go out and get the fastball. I think based on what we've seen, based on what he's done so far, probably going to see another breaking ball here. Nakaoshi wants to either get the swing and a miss or a ground ball to that right side to turn 2.
Hoju at second, Bichette at first. He's covering the line. Good spot. That's exactly where Carmo set up.
Yeah, you take a little bit off the plate, see if you can get him to chase on that fastball. Or maybe sometimes the catcher sets off a little bit off the plate because that fastball is running back. So you don't want to start it over the plate. You want to start it off.
And there's Lutz. He just couldn't help himself. Nakaoshi stuck to the plan, and he strikes him out for out number 2.
Yeah, you show that fastball away, and that gives him just enough of the, you know, you're getting used to that fastball. You just see it once, and now you can't stay back on that breaking ball. Perfectly placed, especially after that fastball in the outside corner.
Because he knows that Lutz is hunting fastball.
Oh, yeah.
And he never got one. Here's Arentz, who's walked and struck out. Seems like we said that for a lot of these German hitters. It's really been all or nothing here today.
It has been, and this is another time we keep saying it. You got the opportunity, last inning, big opportunity, got 1 run. This inning, it would be fantastic now with runners on first and second and 2 outs. If Arentz can come through, just get you a knock, score that 1 run. And as you mentioned, man, Mascai is really shallow and left.
Nakaoshi checks second. And he is really working both sides of the plate. And when you look at what Sawayama and Nakaoshi have done, there is Mascai. Look how shallow he is in left field. Anything into left center is going to be trouble.
Yeah, but also a ground ball to the left side. Yeah. it's pretty strange. You don't see no doubles used very often anymore. Nowadays, we're analytically driven, so you just want to cut off as many base hits as you can.
So you can see Ito, the shortstop, on your screen, which tells you how close he is to second base. And if we can get another look at Hejinado hugging that line at third base. Lots of options here for Vincent Arentz. Look at that gap.
Look at that.
Could park one of those fighter jets in there. 3-1. And there's another walk. So this has been the formula for Germany. Get them on, but they haven't necessarily gotten them over or gotten them in.
I tell you what, if there's anybody you want at the plate right now, I think if you're Germany, you want the guy with the short swing, high contact rate, and has shown that not only can he walk, but he can also hit in Alexander Schmidt at the bottom of the lineup. Not often you say that 9-hitter's your guy, but right now he is.
Another pitching change for Brazil. Germany's got them loaded. Opportunities wasted for Germany in the first. Bases loaded. Yannick Walter flies out to right. And then in the fourth inning, Lucas Dunn with the bags full. Grounds into the force out. And now we have it here in the fifth inning. For the third time in 5 innings, Germany's got them loaded. And Thiago da Silva, pitching for the second straight day, works in a first pitch strike. Da Silva ended up with an inning yesterday behind starter Bo Takahashi. Gave up 1 run on 2 hits. Facing Alex Schmidt, who's been on twice today with a single and a walk. And Schmidt doesn't offer. It's a ball and a strike.
That's 8 free passes so far for Germany. I mean, talk about traffic on the bases, high-stress pitches for Brazil. But they've been up to the task. They have not broken. They've bent quite a bit. They have not broken yet.
Germany today with 6 walks and 2 hit batters.
And they just moved Mescai back and left.
Just got a piece. Schmidt behind in the count, 1-2. Talked about Thiago da Silva last night, now 39 years old. He turns 40 at the end of this month. And at one point, he was a position player. Started representing Brazil in 2002 when he hit .344 in the World Juniors.
He's been playing with Brazil for a very long time.
Over the course of his career, counting the minor leagues and affiliated baseball, 588 games, over 200 starts, and more than 1,600 innings pitched. Well, we know that Schmidt's a tough customer. You said it before, Steven. This is the guy you want up in this spot.
Yeah, you know he's going to battle. He's going to give you a good at-bat. Guy like Da Silva right there actually dropping down a little bit, going for a different look, trying to get Schmidt off balance. It worked. It worked almost too well. Got that weak ground ball foul territory. Let's see if Schmidt can come through.
Bases full for Germany. Tying runs out there. And you got to love this from your number 9 hitter. Alex Schmidt has done it all for Germany. He's made a few dazzling plays at shortstop. He had 2 RBIs yesterday. Big moment And it's inside for ball 3.
Well, once again, another full count. We've seen a lot of those here for Team Brazil, trying to just get out of this any way that they can. Now the runners are going to be taking off, so anything to the outfield is pretty much guaranteed to score 2 runs.
They are trying to get Mascai's attention and left to move back. He never got the message. De Silva's 3-2. Let's do it again. The German Bundesliga MVP, Alex Schmidt, just the second Australian to win the MVP award. 4th in average, 3rd in ribbies, 3rd in hits, top 10 in on-base slugging and OPS. He did it all. And now he's got a moment here to bring Germany back. And De Silva didn't get the call. Another bases-loaded walk, and Germany's cut it in half.
I mean, what an at-bat, and what a great take by Schmidt there. That pitch started, it was a strike the whole time, and then just tailed just enough to be off that inside corner. And like you said, another bases-loaded walk. Both of the runs so far. Maybe he actually missed a little bit down. Good movement. It's not down.
This is one of the most patient teams I have ever seen. It has hurt them at times. And again, it's a chance for Eric Brank to erase his 0 for 7 here at the qualifier.
I mean, hey, he walked his last at bat, moving in the right direction.
Alex Schmidt with his 3rd RBI of the qualifier. Tying runs in scoring position, and Brank wants that one back after checking it foul.
A little half swing there. Not looking very comfortable at the plate.
That's Yannick Walter at 3rd. Arentz the tying run at 2nd. And Schmidt after the bases loaded walk on a dramatic 3-2. The possible go-ahead run at 1st for Germany. But now Brank's behind in the count 0-2. And De Silva gets a swing and a grounder to the left side. Hegenato cuts it off, gets off the throw just in time. And the defense bails out De Silva. Hegenato makes a stellar play, cutting across and extinguishing another bases-loaded opportunity for the Germans. Hegenato on the mark. 4-2 Brazil through 5. Folks, we have our first challenge play, and the call stands. Germany asked for a challenge as we went to a commercial break. We're going to stay right here since we just took a timeout. They wanted to look at that forced play at second base, which ended the bottom of the 5th inning. The grounder off the bat of Eric Brank. Hegenato, the 3rd baseman, with the force out at second base. They wanted to see if Alex Schmidt got in before the throw. Well, you just saw the confirmation of the original call, so another bases-loaded opportunity squandered by the Germans. Here's the play in question. The throw there, obviously very close but the call by Wilfredo Montoya upheld by replay review. Here's a good look right here. Hejinato with the throw. And Schmidt really didn't argue a whole lot, but Germany wanted to roll the dice, and you see the smiles for Brazil, but they're hanging on by a thread. I got to tell you, they are surviving this game right now. The matching by Yuichi Matsumoto, going to his bullpen, relying on Thiago da Silva to record a couple of big outs. And now the game of chess from the opposing dugout, Team Germany and their manager Jendrik Speer trying to keep the game right here. They were down 4-0, but they've made it 4-2. We turn to the 6th inning here on day 2 of the Tucson qualifiers for next year's WBC. Alongside former Pittsburgh Pirates and Chicago Cubs pitcher Stephen Brault, I'm Greg Caserta. Great to be with you. And remember, we'll be back on the air 6 o'clock local time, 8 o'clock Eastern, for the nightcap between China and Colombia. Sven Schuler back out there for Germany. Recorded the final out in the 5th inning on a comebacker from Leonardo Hejinato. So it's 4, 5, and 6 here for Brazil, starting with Dante Bichette Jr., who has scored a run after reaching on a fielder's choice. Overall, 0 for 5. Going back to yesterday. So Schuler starts with the hands out. You'll see that funky delivery right here. A little slingshot action for ball 1. Bichette, Hoju, and Maskai. In a game that hasn't featured a whole lot of hitting, but a lot of walks, a lot of strikeouts. And it's 2-0. One thing that probably should mention, Stephen, is that it's much cooler today than it was yesterday. So you wonder how that plays into how this game has played out.
Especially with that wind. Cool breeze blowing out to right field.
Now, you said you were going to put your jacket on. You have not done that yet.
No, I decided to wait it out. I'm going to, though. I think being up here a little bit, maybe we feel that breeze a little bit more.
Schuler's 2-1. It's in on Bichette. Sven Schuler, back in 2016, was teammates with Nationals outfielder Stone Garrett on the Sydney Blue Sox in the Australian Baseball League. Everybody has a history. And now Bichette unloads on one, sending a fly into right field. Yannick Walter getting tuffed out by the wind. And Dante Bichette Jr. just rides that jet stream and cruises into second with a leadoff double.
Yeah, the first time we've really seen that wind come into effect. Just lift the ball over to the right side. Yannick Walter, a catcher by trade, so out there in right field today, couldn't really read that very well. As an outfielder, when you got the wind blowing towards your direction, you just got to know you're going to have to go back further than you think. You got to start sprinting and get back there. You see him drifting with the ball, not really just getting to the spot.
I mean, that looked like a routine fly ball that carried to the edge of the warning track.
Yeah.
And now Brazil with small ball. Hoju lays down the bunt, gets Bichette to third. Terrible throw by Schuler. He just panicked. And the wheels are falling off defensively for Germany here in the 6th.
Yeah, this is a really tough start. Should be 2 outs with nobody on. Instead, you got runners on the corners with nobody out. And take a look at that fly ball again. So hard to read these at times because you see him the way he's looking at it, the way he's drifting. He thinks he's on it for the first 5 steps or so and then realizes it's too far. And then you look at this bunt. We do these PFPs constantly. You do not want to keep that ball so close into your head. You want to try to throw that as normally as you can. And that right there ends up being a really tough error.
That one fouled back by Maskai, and if you got to look at Schuler on that throw, it looked like he was trying to throw an egg. Just never got a good grip.
Right.
Came right off his fingertips. And the first German error gives Brazil a great chance to add back to this lead. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Remember, Maskai had the 2 RBI single, which pushed the lead to 4-0 in the 4th.
That short throw to first base can be tough for pitchers because you're throwing the ball almost as hard as you can over and over and over.
There's a ground ball roll to second. Taylor made, Baumgart to Schmidt, on to first for the double play. No RBI for Maskai, but Brazil adds a run and they're back in front by 3.
Yeah, huge run scored there. Good double play, but unfortunately ends up scoring a run because the defense couldn't come through for those first 2 hitters. ends up being a big run for Brazil. You could tell that they were just playing for that one run. They threw out the bunt. They wanted to try to advance this lead to 3, and they're able to do that with a little bit of help from the German team.
Gabriel Carmo. As you get another look at this 4-6-3 double play, that's more of the German defense that we saw yesterday. Schuller's got to be kicking himself after whiffing on that bunt. The errant throw to first. Things just not going right for the Germans here today, and yet they're only down 3.
Tell you what, I've definitely done that before.
I mean, we talked about it before, right, partner, where we mentioned John Lester, who you had good numbers against as a hitter when you faced him in the majors, but John Lester notoriously could not throw to first.
Yeah, he could throw to home plate better than almost anybody else. He had great command. And
Noah
for some reason,
another one.
That throw to first can be tough.
Timeout requested by Carmo.
And it becomes a mental thing, you know, especially after you do it once. If Schuler gets another ground ball back to him, you bet he's going to be nervous because he doesn't want to make that mistake again. We saw that in the championship game of Taipei versus Spain.
And Schuler comes too far inside and plunks Carmo. It's amazing how this game has changed since Tommy Somer departed after 3 perfect innings. Every frame since then has been littered and a bit messy.
Yeah, it's been chaotic, I would say, at times. We've seen some good defense, some bad defense. We've seen a lot of free passes on both sides. That's never a good way to, shut down an offense. Looks like we're going to have some kind of visit here.
Germany's relievers are all clad in their black hoodies. A couple stretching right now out there in the pen. Vincent Arentz out from behind the plate to talk with Schuler. Let's try and get him through this 6th inning. Go back to the end of the 5th inning when Schuler originally came on. He fielded that comebacker off the bat of Peginato. Made a perfect throw to first, but for whatever reason here in the 6th, that wide throw giving Brazil an opening, and they took advantage, scoring to make it 5-2. And this is how Brazil needs to win. I mean, it's not going to be pretty for them. They're going to have to scrap and claw, which they've done for 5.5 innings here today. Maciel after the mound visit, strike 1.
A big part of tournament play like this is taking advantage of every mistake that the other team makes. 2 mistakes here in this inning for Germany, and Brazil able to take advantage of that. And that's how you get this 5-2 lead that has been gifted to them by the Germans in different ways. Free passes, some errors, and then a few big hits from the Brazilian team. Really have been a much different look than we saw from their offense yesterday.
Let's see if we can get a look at Carmo widening that lead at first. He's got the oven mitt on, taking a big lead. That one twisted around foul by Maciel.
Ooh. Unfortunate drop there by the fan. Nobody got the ball. That's nice.
Oh, the kid in the grout fit got it.
The grout fit. That is quite the grout fit, huh?
Schuler trying to get us to the home 6th. Nice rip by Maciel.
Maciel's looked much more comfortable today than we saw yesterday at the plate. Swing looks a lot freer. Still doesn't have a hit yet, but in general has looked better.
0 for 3 in the 9-hole yesterday. He and Vitor Ito switching spots here today. Ito on deck. Soft roller out to second. Baumgart, good footwork. Charges, rounds out, and feeds Schmidt to retire the side. Brazil gets a run back of 5-2 on Germany. Here's what Germany's done today. First inning, bases loaded for the first time. Yannick Walter flies to right. Then in the fourth, same thing. Lucas Dunn grounds out, force out there. Fifth inning. This was a close play. Good job by Hegenato to cut it off. They reviewed that force out, but the call stood. Germany has stranded 11 runners over 5 innings. And after Brazil brought a run back in the top of the sixth, it's 5-2 as we move to the home half. One side, Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta. Producer Mike Trainer and the rest of our crew bringing you our third game out of 7 here at the Tucson Qualifier.
Germany's still looking to break out this game. They have had their chances, as we just went over, giving themselves a lot of base runners, but haven't found the big hit. We saw that yesterday. It took them a little while. They did score 6 runs in the first 6 innings, but it didn't feel that way because they didn't have any really big hits. And then the 7th inning came around. You saw things turn around, and the Germans really took advantage of a lot of mistakes and put up 6.
Not sure what the kids are chanting, but you get Lou Helmig on a pop-up to short. Ito right there for the first out of the inning. And when you throw it all into the hopper, 5+ innings here for Germany. I mentioned the 11 on base. 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. A lot of that with the bases loaded.
Yeah, and that can be the difference in this game. I mean, it's a 3-run game, and this is a close game. Germany has clearly shown that they're on the cusp of breaking open, but still unable to do so.
I'll tell you what, Thiago da Silva is not liking this strike zone from home plate umpire Casey James. He's shaking his head a few times. Comes back, full windup. Wants the check swing. That time he agrees. 2-0 on Dunn.
That's felt a bit tight, a bit small. Not necessarily wrong, but
consistently tight.
Right.
Thiago da Silva, 39 years old. Turns 40 later this month. Still doing it. This one served in a right field. Lucas Ramirez coming down to get it. That hat continues to fly off, but he's in the perfect spot for out number 2.
Really good swing by Dunn. One of the hardest hit balls we've seen of the day. Line drive out to right field, but a great read from Ramirez. And you can tell he used the wind here. He didn't charge in full speed. He knew that ball was going to carry a little bit more and just kind of drops down to the shoulder. I wouldn't call that a dive. That's the old Buzz Lightyear. That's falling with style right there.
That's the tumble.
Yeah.
That's the Gymboree move right there. So Da Silva having 2 quick outs. Attacking Baumgart, who has 2 of the 4 German hits. Brazil only has 4 hits as well, but it's a 5-2 lead as they look to get it to the 7th. Check swing roller right at first. Dante Bichette Jr. underhands to Da Silva. And that's a quick 6th inning for the veteran. On to the 7th we go. Brazil's got a 5-2 lead. You see it right there at the bottom for Christian Padrol. Boy, this is an odd twist of fate. Born in Sao Paulo, and he pitched for Brazil in the most recent WBC qualifiers in 2022. He recorded 2 outs against Panama. Now he dons those black Deutschland unis and gets to face some of his former mates as we roll into the 7th. 5-2 Brazil. A win here would get both of these teams to 1-1. And it's 1 ball and no strikes on Vitor Ito in the 9-hole. He struck out twice. Fillets that one foul. 4th reliever of the day for Germany. Sven Schuler gave up a run in an inning and a third.
They have a little bit of wiggle room there after using only 1 reliever for 2/3 of an inning yesterday.
This one hits softly in back of second. Baumgart casually runs out to get it. I can't even say he ran, just kind of traipsed out there and followed it through the whole way.
Yeah, sometimes as a second baseman, you're going back with a little bit of trepidation because you know the outfielders are charging in as well. So you're not necessarily the first person on the spot there as an infielder. Good job reading that, getting underneath it. You call it, you take it.
The old can of corn. Ball 1 on Gabriel Gomez back at the top here for Brazil. Scored the first Brazilian run in the 4th inning. Got a great read on a ball in the dirt. Corners tight on the infield for Germany. Nudge foul. Christian Padrol signed with the Mariners out of Brazil when he was just 17 years old. Spent 3 years in their organization. Got to AAA Tacoma in 2019. Has since spent time in the German Bundesliga. He has German heritage, so he does not count as a foreign player in the league. That's something that they look at in these foreign baseball leagues. 2022, he was just spectacular. Perfect 8-0, ERA in the low 2s. This one sent deep to right field, and again, the wind nudges it up over the wall for a ground rule double.
Wow, that ball carried so far. Goodness gracious. And you saw us once again, right fielder unable to read that. Yannick Walter having a tough time out there in right field with that wind pushing the ball back and back and back. And, you know, at this point, you got to start making an adjustment.
That is a thankless job for Yannick Walter. He has gone on a couple of rides in the last 2 innings. First, it was Dante Bichette Jr. down in the corner in the 6th inning. And again, everything that looks like a routine fly ball, certainly anything but in right field here today.
Now look at the wind blowing right there. Look at the hair.
Lucas Ramirez has an RBI chance. And he knows a thing or two about playing right field. He's made a couple of great plays. 1 for 3 with a single and a run back in the 4th. So Brazil just catching every break. And now Ramirez floats this one down the line and left. And that's in for a base hit. Brazil continues to counterpunch. Lucas Ramirez in with a double. His 2nd knock. Back-to-back 2-baggers, and Brazil's up 4.
You know, that one was kind of funny because I got to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure that ball was hit harder than the ball hit out to right field. You see, because that wind is going straight across the field, I mean, it just killed that ball's flight and kept it in front of the left fielder. But great job by Ramirez getting to second base. His 2nd hit of the day. He gets himself a ribby. And once again, that fly ball out to right field coming back to bite the German team.
And he now leads this lineup with 3 hits in 2 games. Lucas Ramirez showing the opposite field ability right there. Watch him just drop the barrel. A little flare on the follow through. And then he starts to pick up the pace. We still got to get him a hat and helmet combo that fits, but I also think it's the little do-rag that he's got on underneath that keeps jarring it loose.
Yeah.
A point to the sky, and I know Dad's watching in the ballpark. He's got to be thrilled with that one.
It's a great swing. Seeing him go left field and right field this game, just at his age of 19, a sweet swing.
For the 2nd time today, Brazil leads Germany by 4. 4-0 and now 6-2. And Janado 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. Line the other way, base hit down the line, and this could be the 3rd consecutive double for the Brazilians. They are pouncing all over their former teammate, Christian Pedrol. 3 straight doubles, and for the first time, it's a 5-run gap.
3 straight doubles, and 2 of them hit on the screws. 1 of them hit up in the air, the right direction. But this has been a much different approach from Team Brazil. We've seen a lot of aggression at the plate, just going out and getting the job done. And adding these runs at the end of the game means so much, because look, our lead was 4, and then it was quickly 4-2, and all of a sudden things start to get a little hairy. Now Brazil able to put up 3 in these last 2 innings, and still threatening here with a runner on second and 1 out. Now a 5-run lead for Brazil.
Germany's starting to feel it now. Pitching coach Clemens Sashaki out to check on his right-hander, Christian Pedrol. He got soft contact for the first out of the inning, but since then, 3 straight doubles and RBI knocks for both Lucas Ramirez and Leonardo Hejinato. Right-hander playing catch for Germany right there. Sasha Koch starting to get loose. And there's Dante Bichette Jr. This is where things really started to turn, and it's not getting much better as Pedrol unloads a wild one, getting Hejinato to third.
Yeah, it's a tough one right there, because now really anything can score the runner from third. See, Germany's going to bring that infield in, try to cut off this run, and you have to. Down 5 here in the 7th. You got to do everything you can to make sure that runner stays at third. And so now Bichette has a whole slew of opportunities to get this run in.
Infield in, corners of the outfield tight. And a vicious cut by Bichette. There's been a mainstay in the cleanup spot here for Brazil, going all the way back to the 2016 WBC qualifiers. It was his double that led off the 6th inning, got it up into the wind, and came around to score his 2nd run. Tap it to the left side. The runner stays put, and Brent gets it across for the 2nd out.
That's an adjustment from yesterday. We saw almost the exact same ground ball from Dante Bichette Jr., by the way, over to third baseman. However, in this game right here, stay at third base, keep that runner there, see if you can get a base hit to score it here. That's going to be it.
2nd visit means that Pedrol's day is done, and that means that Sasha Koch's is just beginning right after this timeout. Brazil didn't score for their first 12 innings here at the WBC qualifier, but they started opening things up in the 4th inning. A couple of big knocks from Hoju and Maskai. Then in the 6th inning, the Dante Bichette Jr. double. And here in the 7th, 2 more runs and 3 straight doubles. RBI base hits for Lucas Ramirez and Leonardo Hejinato after the Dante Bichette Jr. ground out It's Lucas Hoju standing in against right-hander Sasha Koch, who misses up high with his first.
We saw Hoju earlier in this game and a laser beam in the left center gap for a double. Take a look at Koch.
There's a soft pop-up once again. Shallow right center. Baumgart, he's got that play figured out perfectly. And he puts it away to end the inning. But Brazil takes its largest lead with 2 runs here in the 7th. First the double, aided by the wind. Ramirez with the double. Reginado with the double. 7-2 Brazil.
We're coming for you. It's going down.
It's getting late early for Team Germany as they come up here in the 7th, staring down a 5-run deficit for the very first time. Give Brazil credit, 7 hits in this game, 5 have gone for doubles.
It's good camera work right there.
Great camera work. Fly away, little balloon.
One sad, lonely balloon.
That's just hovering right up in shallow center right now.
Yeah.
Makes me think of Pennywise the Clown, except he would carry a red
It
balloon.
would be red, yeah.
Ball 1 on Sean Larry. Thiago da Silva carrying the load here. For the 2nd straight day, making an appearance out of Brazil's bullpen. Funnels outside to Larry, who's struck out a couple of times and walked. And we do have something to report. Actually, no, they've gone to their bench. Sean Larry is out, and Simon Baumer is in. So Baumer hooks that one up out of play. Larry finished with a couple of strikeouts and a walk.
Yeah, and you know, it's huge for Thiago da Silva to be able to stay out there. They're going to try to ride him for as many innings as he can go, I would think.
That's pulled through the right side. And Boimer comes through off the bench with a leadoff base hit, and he is yelling and pumping his chest over at first base, trying to get Deutschland back into it.
Great swing there from Boimer. Got a pitch out over the middle of the plate. Hard line drive through the right side. We haven't seen much of that really solid contact from Germany that we saw yesterday as of yet in this one here, but a solid contact right there through the right side. And there goes Boimer for a pinch hitter. Sorry, pinch runner. That was quick. Quick appearance. What a day.
No time. Tristan Russell is now going to pinch run, which doesn't affect the defensive alignment because that's the DH spot. So Boimer comes on, singles on the 4th pitch, and Russell's in. Germany emptying its bench. A first pitch strike to Walter.
That's a fun day right there. Come in for a pinch hit, get yourself a base hit, and you don't even have to run the bases. It's like the baseball dream.
So Boimer with the single. Russell now pinch running. Their first appearances here. Soft roller up the grass at 3rd. Busy day for Reginado. And he lost it on the transfer. He realized he had no play at second, but for whatever reason, just couldn't get it out cleanly.
You could see from the get-go there was something uncomfortable about that play. Even when he first fielded into his glove, it wasn't a right in the pocket type of play. Kind of hesitated there, weirdly off the side. Takes him a while to get the ball out of his glove and never gets the hold. And so, unfortunately for Brazil, now Germany threatening again, and that's going to be it for De Silva.
More changes incoming. A left-hander coming in from the Brazilian bullpen right after this. Ugo Kanabushi is on the mound. Kanabushi out of Alto Paraná, Brazil, was born and raised there, but eventually moved to Japan to play high school baseball. So another link between the two countries as Donald Lutz strokes a fly ball into deep left center field, and that one is down. One hop to the wall. Donald Lutz comes through once again. RBI double, and it scores the third German run.
Look, I knew that he hit that well, but I got to be honest with you. Off the bat, I thought, well, that's too bad that he hit it to left because the wind's going to knock it down. But he hit that hard enough right to slice through that wind, cutting across from left to right. Donald Lutz, another big hit. He had the homer in game one. Now this big double to the opposite side in game two. And you can only imagine if he had pulled that ball, it'd probably still be flying.
And Lutz got nothing but soft stuff away. Kanabushi tried coming in, and the fastball was right out over the plate.
Good swing, not trying to do too much, not trying to force the pulling of the ball, just going with it and driving it that way.
And Germany is just relentless, not making it easy on Brazil at any point in this game. And Brazil probably feeling great after scoring twice in the top of the seventh, and yet Germany is right back on their doorstep. Second and third, nobody out for Arentz, who's attacking here.
I got to be honest, it seems like there may have been some sort of a meeting, changing the approach at the plate. The Germans been very patient these first two games. Seems like they've changed that a little bit, trying to get out in front and go get the ball. Doing a lot of early contact this inning.
Kanabushi, the third left-hander, and with the infield back to second, brings home the run. Hoju to first for the out, but Walter scores, and Germany gets it to within 7-4.
That's getting the job done right there. Sometimes when you got those runners on second and third, especially with no outs, a ground ball to the right side accomplishes two jobs. You get the runner over from second to third, you get the runner in from third to home, and so you get to do two things at once. Not often you get to do that in an at-bat. Huge at-bat there. And now Schmidt has been great. Still hasn't gotten out today. Good person to have up in this spot.
A single and two walks, one of them with the bases loaded. Seventh inning's been the magic one for Team Germany. And the plan here today for Brazil has been go lefty heavy on the mound. Sawayama got the start. Nakahoshi followed in relief. De Silva, the lone righty, went an inning and a third. And now Kanabushi trying to push this one to the eighth. Schmidt sends a high pop-up into shallow left center. Lutz is back. Maciel makes the catch, and here comes the big fella. Chugging home. He's in no problem. And Germany has scored thrice here in the seventh to get within two.
Happened really quickly, too. Though kind of the theme of this game has been it's taken a while to score for teams. You know, you've had to get a lot of people on base. You've had to get some free passes. Not the case this inning. 3 runs in the blink of an eye for Germany, and now only down 2. Way different ball game. I mean, this ball game has gone back and forth so many times, and now back at the top of the order with Brent.
Can't say it enough. I have been so impressed with Alex Schmidt. Everything that he has brought to this team has made an impact.
Second RBI of the day for him.
Just like last night, or yesterday, I should say. 2 RBIs in back-to-back games here.
I mean, it's a pretty nice boon to have the MVP of your league hitting 9th in your order.
Now, if they could just get this guy to get going. Eric Brink pulls it on the ground. Slick play. Hejinato to first. Bang, bang. And Hejinato redeems himself after the error, but Germany makes it interesting once again. Hejinato keeps it close. Fires across. It is 7-5 going to the 8th. They finally lifted Yannick Walter from right field. He caught the first 5 innings yesterday. That's Finn Bergman taking over in right. This one smoked into left center field, and that's down for a base hit. Victor Mascai sneaking it into the power alley. Leadoff double, his second base hit of the day.
Why wait? Get one you like. Seems like everything has turned around here. Both sides have become a lot more aggressive. Getting first pitch, second pitch in the at-bat, just getting a good pitch to hit. You see there, just right out over the plate. And Mascai, as we said earlier, even though he wasn't necessarily having the best of results, has been taking some pretty good swings. And a pinch runner.
Yes, we do have a pinch runner for Brazil. Daniel Yonemura is going to take over and possibly play left field for the Brazilian team.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of shifting of the defensive alignments here. Saw Walter get taken out of right field. Now Mascai gets lifted for the speedier and I assume better in the outfield, Yonemura.
Job well done by Victor Mascai after an 0 for 3 yesterday. Oh, look at this. We had a lot of moving parts on that play.
I tell you what.
Got there, Brault.
So that is the bunt play. You just called the pick, right? So the shortstop's going to be running in front of the runner on second base to give the look that nobody's going to be covering second. Second baseman jumps in there behind. It's a time pick on a glove drop by the catcher.
Runners converging as Carmo shows bunt. And he was trying that slash. He went around. And there's strike one. So things that you don't really see.
So they went to the pickoff play first. See there, catcher drops the glove. They go for the pick. And then the second one, they do the wheel. So both guys cleared out, and you crashed both corners.
That was a good read, too, by Yonemura to not fall for that.
Right.
And looks like Carmo's a bit shaken up after falling down on that check swing.
Well, looks like he's stretching out his leg.
A little awkward there.
Discomfort.
Because if you remember, we might be able to dig up a replay. He showed bunt, pulled it back, and you see him reaching back and grabbing his right hammy.
Been there.
They're looking to the dugout. They might have to make a change here.
Hammies can tweak from the weirdest little movements. But maybe it's more just a cramp. Looks like they're saying we need some water. He's smiling.
That's what they're looking into the dugout for.
Somebody get that guy some mustard, some pickle juice.
Yep, exactly. They're just going to go for regular water, good old H2O.
It's one of my favorite things that I learned much later in life is the drinks they have on the sidelines of football games to keep hydrated. They got some mustard.
Yeah, watch here. Watch that back leg go down, and then it kind of locks up on him. He's saying, no check swing, but then when he gets up, there it is.
Oh.
And that's something I always have in my refrigerator at home. Even when the pickles are done, the juice stays. Good for hydration and martinis.
Oh, there you go.
And this time they try the wheel, but nobody's driving the car.
You know, this is something that you're not going to see other teams do. Other teams that have not played together the way that the German team has played together, they're not going to have organized bunt plays with a runner on second because you have to work on this. This has to be done in practice. So interesting seeing Germany going with these bunt plays.
There's the slash. You rarely see that. This one poked into center, and there's a great play by Dunn, cutting across to right to put it away. Good move by Yonemura to tag to third. But Lucas Dunn covered a lot of ground to race over and make the play.
Well executed play all around. On offense, you get to see the rare slash. Put out the bunt, pull it back. Short swing to the ball, straight to the ball. Gets a little bit of barrel onto it. And floats it out into right center field. But as you said, Lucas Dunn, nice run to his left.
Carmo had a successful sack bunt in the fourth. This one gets the runner over just the same. Infield in now for Germany. And Koch deals down. Ball one on Maciel.
And this is a huge run.
Look at all that room in right center.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dunn shaded out a few steps the other way. Maciel 0 for 2 with a walk. RBI chance. Bouncing ball to first. Here's the throw to the plate. And it's off the mark. It was hit slowly enough that Yonemura broke. And the pinch running decision works wonderfully for Brazil. Once again, they counterpunch, and it's 8-5.
We saw yesterday Lucas Ramirez got gunned down at home on the contact play on the ground ball to third. This one a ground ball to first. And Lutz kind of awkwardly catching that out in front. And didn't really have his feet set underneath him, so that throw all arm. And look at the speed of Yonemura getting in there. Great job. Like you said, that pitch running choice really paying off.
Tried that back pick at first base with Maciel.
So how do they score that? Is that a hit?
That is a fielder's choice with an RBI, my friend.
Fielder's choice.
You knew that Lutz was going to come home, but Yonemura active on the bases. 2-0 now on Ito, who's 0 for 3. Yeah. Get that Theragun out. Nice little deep tissue massage for Gabriel Carmo. Brazil manufacturing runs. We talked about it in the open. They've come out and delivered.
Yeah, really dry out here, so I'm not surprised.
Another slash. This one hooked foul.
Ito with the bunt base hit yesterday. 9-hitter, not a big guy. Got some speed. He's definitely going to be trying to find any way to get on base. And if you can just get that runner to second here, that's getting a job done. Getting him into scoring position with the top of your order coming up. would be not perfect, but it would be effective.
Only one out. And now we could have two. Back to the mound. Koch wings it to second. Gun back to first. Yes, sir. Bang, bang again. Germany turns it, but Brazil adds a run. It's 8-5 through 7.5.
Pretty bang bang. Pretty bang bang.
So we're back here very quickly because, again, we've got a replay review. This one coming from the Brazilian side. After what was ruled an inning-ending double play. It was 1-6-3, started by the pitcher Koch, but certainly looked like the return throw from Schmidt to first was not in time. Hard to tell there.
Oh, we got no angle there.
You got the pitcher blocking, and the call stands. So the call is upheld. It's a 1-6-3 double play, and Germany might have just caught a break. They haven't had many today, but Brazil does add that run to go up 8-5. Here's a much better look. The throw back, the stretch, and yeah, I think they got it right.
Yeah.
It certainly helps with big Donald Lutz stretching out at first. Here's the look we want. Ball in the glove. Real close.
Man, that's close. I know tie goes to the runner isn't a thing. It's not actually a real rule. That's about as close as you're going to get, though.
Sure was. But this game, I got to tell you, Steven, has featured a lot of blinking.
Oh, yeah.
And you just wonder if Germany has enough bullets left in the tank. They're only down 3 with 6 outs to go, but and Brazil, to their credit, they have met them frame for frame.
They have, and Brazil's been continuing to add to that lead, but it does not feel like Germany is anywhere away from, close in this game. They are right there. I think they have every chance to win this game. This offense just has to keep doing what it did last inning. I think being a little more aggressive. We know you can walk. We know you can get on base. That's great. But you have to be able to hit to score those runs. And so it's good to see that last inning. I assume we'll see more of that.
Much like Germany yesterday, we talked about the offense quite a bit, but I think Marcus Solbach was buried as the starter. You could say the same thing today for Brazil and their left-handed starter, Enzo Sawayama, who came out of the gate slow. First inning had them loaded, but got through it. And then picked things up in the second. First and second with 1 out. He ends up striking out 3. Adds 2 more punch outs in the third. And then 1 for good measure in the 4th inning. 6 strikeouts over 3 2/3 for the left-hander. Just 21 years old. Making another appearance on the international stage and giving his team a chance to come out and win against a tough German opponent. On to the 8th inning we go. Lou Helmig, Lucas Dunn, Simon Baumgart, 2, 3, and 4 for Germany.
Oh, nice snag over there in the first base dugout. Third base dugout.
A lot more smiles today from Team Brazil after they were shut out last night by Colombia 5-0. Helmig go for 3, but did have a bases loaded walk. Tugo Kanabushi.
And it's been the bottom of the German lineup that has been really doing the damage. Yesterday as well. And today is the same case. The top 2 guys really struggled. Both have gotten on with a walk, but that ball.
This one struck well. Deep right field. Will the wind carry it out? It's off the top of the wall. That one was smoked by Helmig. He's got a leadoff double. And here come the Germans once again roaring back from Deutschland.
Now, that's what you like to see, as we talked about right before this. A little more aggression from this German side, and a lefty-lefty. Good swing there by Helmig. First one we've really seen him make good contact. He got a single yesterday, but it was a little off the label, and so just kind of a flare out to right. This one drilled out to right. Just a little bit of topspin, the only reason this one didn't carry out. Solid play off the wall, though. That's exactly how you want to play that. Let it bounce back to you.
We'll say Lucas Ramirez has handled right field well. We've said it a couple of times, especially with the windy conditions here today. So many changes in this game. One that happened a moment ago. Daniel Yonemura is the new left fielder for Brazil, and a new reliever's coming out right now. We wondered when we'd see 24-year-old right-hander Eric Pardinho. That time is now. The question is, will he carry it to the finish line for Brazil as they go to their bullpen for the 4th time here today? First game of our Monday doubleheader. And for those of you watching on MLB Network, we thank you. He's Stephen Brault. I'm Greg Caserta. It's been a bit messy. It's been a bit cluttered, but it's a bit tight, too. 8-5. Brazil leading. Trying to get the win and level off at 1-1. Germany, after a blowout over China yesterday, would also be 1-1 if this score holds. Lucas Dunn in the 3 spot for Germany. And there's a strike from Pardinho, the highly touted Blue Jays minor leaguer. 6 seasons in the Toronto organization since he debuted as a rookie in 2018. He was not added to their 40-man, so after choosing free agency, he re-signed on a minor league deal right before Christmas. It's an invite to spring training, but also gets some innings here for Team Brazil. And again, that strike zone from Casey James, tough but fair all day.
Yeah, it seems like the Brazilian pitching staff has been communicating with each other, and they're all pretty unhappy with these calls. Not often you see a pitcher have that reaction on the first call they disagree with, and I don't think that was a strike anyway.
Pardinho missing up with everything against Dunn. He's 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. His last time up, he hit that sinking line drive into right field. Was caught niftily by Lucas Ramirez.
Not an off speed to start this at bat.
Yeah. First base open, tying run lurking. And there it is, ball 4. And here comes Baumgart with 2 hits. Standing in is the tying run for Germany.
Interesting seeing Pardinho kind of staying away from the fastball. But let's look at that player profile. In 2016, he pitched in the WBC qualifier. Brazil is age 15. That's insane to think about. And then the MLB international signing period, the 5th best prospect available, signed for a cool $1.4 million. And in 119 career minor league performances, about 230 innings, 270-ish strikeouts.
There were reports out of that 2016 qualifier in Brooklyn, New York, that Pardinho at 15 years old was throwing 94. He originally signed for over $1 million in 2017. And there's still a lot of untapped potential there. Blue Jays still feel that they've got something here. Finally got his call up to AAA last season in the middle of the year. Ended up making 24 appearances with the AAA Buffalo Bisons, had an ERA over 5. Great numbers at AA for Pardinho. This one roped into center, but there's Maciel to make the catch. Runner tagging to third. Throw cut off. Good base running from the Germans. And Helmig gets to the other corner. Bringing up, we believe, Tristan Russell in this spot. Unless Germany makes a change, they still have the tying run at the dish.
Simon Baumgart. Unfortunately, that luck seems to have maybe turned around there. He had 2 weak hits today. He didn't get out a single time yesterday. That ball hit absolutely right on the screws. And the center fielder, Maciel, didn't have to move at all. In fact, he almost had to freeze because he wanted to move, and the ball was just heat-seeking right towards him.
And it is Tristan Russell at the plate for the first time. Came on as a pinch runner. Here's another look at that at-bat from a moment ago. Helmig's at third, Dunn's at first, and Russell for the first time at the plate in this qualifier. Infield looking for 2. There's the bunt. Look at this. Up the grass at third. Rolling, foul. Let's take a look-see at Simon Baumgart. He ropes it. He thinks he's got something. He's saying, get down, get down. Maciel stops in his tracks, makes the catch, and then there's Helmig tagging to third.
That's a great read by Helmig, too, to understand that that's going to be a tough play to make because he's not going to be rushing in. He's back on his back foot. That ball's basically catching him, and so he's not going to be able to get as much on that throw. And so Helmig, a great choice in advancing over to third base, especially with 1 out. Get yourself on third base. A lot of ways to score.
Another tense moment for Brazil. That fastball right through Russell. It's 1-2. A reminder that Germany today has stranded 11 runners on base and gone 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
Still managed to put up 3 last inning, but Brazil scoring 3 innings in a row. Just keep pushing the goalposts.
Pardinho gets the call, strike 3 on the inner half. And that time he loves the strike zone. Back-to-back outs here for Pardinho in the 8th.
I don't know about that one. Let's see if it comes back. I'll give you that on the corner.
I got to tell you, for a former pitcher, you are very fair. You do not give the edge to your former guys.
I was not fair when I was pitching. I can tell you that right now.
Stephen Brault reminding all you kids out there, life is not fair. First pitch up high to Yannick Walter. And boy, if you're Germany, you're thinking, this again?
I know. Once again, putting yourself in the right situations. And now with Finn Bergman coming out to the plate, still looking for that big hit. And it can happen.
It is Finn Bergman. Same spot, 2-0.
Good situation to hit here. Looks like Pardinho having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone. Even that changeup that he threw that froze Tristan Russell was not supposed to be there. It was supposed to be a changeup away. Ended up being inside and catching that inside corner. But that's his #1 pitch. We've seen him throw it a good amount already. That changeup had a lot of depth to it. A lot of velo off the fastball. Good movement towards his arm side.
So just like the last hitter, Tristan Russell, this is Finn Bergman's first time at the plate. Runner on the move from first, pitches down, throw from a knee, strong throw, but not in time. Lucas Dunn's got the stolen base, and now there are 2 in scoring position. A base hit could get Germany back to within 1.
Interesting spot here, right? So it's 3-0. You got runners on second and third. It's a great time to swing. As you take a look at that stolen base, good jump. They were never going to try to get that out in second, though. They were cutting that off.
Dead red to Bergman, 2-1.
If you are Pardinho, you do not want this runner to get on and have to face Donald Lutz with the bases loaded and 2 outs. You want to get out of this right here.
Bergman yesterday 0 for 2, 2 walks and a run. One of those walks came with the bases loaded. He's got another, and this is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is the moment that Germany's been waiting for. It's Donald Lutz with a chance to give Germany the lead with 1 swing.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Big home run yesterday that started that 6-run rally in the 7th by Lutz. And here today with Pardinho kind of struggling to find his command. It'll be interesting to see how they attack Lutz.
Our Brazilian mound visit allows us to show you this last AB from Donald Lutz, who extended and drilled this RBI double into left center field. That was the first of 3 straight RBI at-bats for Germany. When it seemed like they were dead in the water, they scored 3 times. And now it's Lutz with the tying runs on base. The hairs on my arm are standing up, so I can't even imagine what Brazil is feeling in this moment.
Oh, this does not feel good. This feels like fate, unfortunately. This is everything that the German team would want. You got yourself into the right situation. This is the 4th time that they have loaded the bases in an inning. So far, they've scored 2 runs off of those bases loaded chances. Now you got to have that big swing right here from Lutz.
The outfielders are a mile away, and Pardinho has shown us a little bit of everything. He's faced 4 batters, walked 2, and struck out 1. And remember, Baumgart hit one on the screws to center field. So there's been some hard contact sprinkled in as well.
I got to be honest, I don't really see them trying to attack Lutz too much with fastballs. And honestly, even though the bases are loaded, you got a 3-run lead. A walk here, if you end up walking him, as long as it's competitive, I would be okay with it. But you got to try to get him swinging over your changeup. He's got a really good changeup. You got to be able to throw that, at the bottom of the zone in a big spot right here for Pardinho.
Eric Pardinho, former top 100 prospect, heading into the 2019 season, taking on the savvy veteran, the 36-year-old truck, Donald Lutz, who homered yesterday. That came in the 7th. Here in the 8th, the bases are loaded, and that's a nice changeup. Just dropping out of the zone from Pardinho.
Yeah, there it is. That is nasty. I mean, so much drop out of the hand. Almost looks like a splitter. You see how much Lutz missed that by.
See the grimaces in that German dugout. Pardinho, 24 years old, comes set. And a little flinch out at the plate.
Oh, man, it's tough to see the umpire flinch as a pitcher. Let's see that. It's definitely up, though. It seems like
anybody thinks about it is because it's Lutz at 6'4".
Right.
2-1. Great eye, 3-1.
I mean, isn't it kind of crazy to think about that Eric Pardinho is scared to throw a fastball to Donald Lutz? I mean, this is what Lutz has become. Just in this short amount of time, he has shown that he is here to hit. And so you're afraid of that.
Has been no life on Pardinho's pitches.
No.
Backed into a corner, 3-1. Look at that, and that's why he's not throwing the fastball. Third walk given out by Pardinho. The question now is how much longer can they trust him? Because Germany is once again threatening to tie this game.
That tying run now on second base. Remember, they were down by 5 just a few innings ago. And look at that score from the last 3 innings. They put up Brazil 1 in the 6th, and then they both scored in the 7th, 5 total runs in the 7th, and then the 8th, they both scored again. This has been quite a back and forth last few innings.
Here's Winston Arentz, who had an RBI ground out his last time, taking everything from Pardinho, who's faced 5 and walked 3. Here's the allotment. Dunn is at third. Bergman, the tying run at second. And now Donald Lutz, the possible winning run at first, if Germany can take the lead into the 9th. Arentz has walked twice. He's shown a great eye. That's been a staple of this German lineup. And Pardinho's nowhere close.
And he's frustrated. He's being very, very emotive on the mound, if you would take that. That's kind of redundant, but you know.
He is trying to steal that high strike, but he's just not getting it. 2-0. He's not getting any strike. 3-0.
That's off the plate away. And Pardinho once again showing his frustration out on the mound. And not good body language. And I understand it. I mean, the frustration coming into a big spot here, wanting to be huge for your team, and just can't find the strike zone.
Arentz likely taking all the way. There it is. Pitch number 25 from Pardinho. That was only strike number 8.
Yeah, that's not a good ratio. You actually want the opposite of that ratio.
Man, oh man. And here he comes. Pardinho wasting no time, just trying to speed through this inning. Same spot, same call, 3-2. So another turn on the tension wheel. Whew. And if you like drama, this has been the perfect start to day 2 of the Tucson qualifier. Maybe a bit outside, but it doesn't matter because now we've got a payoff coming. The runners will be on the move. But first, a timeout at the plate.
And now with the outfielders playing fully back in normal depth, anything through the infield here with the runner going from second, Dunn will score.
Of course, the big fella Donald Lutz is the go-ahead run at first. Another timeout granted. Just trying to throw Pardinho off his rather fast tempo. Sun finally peeking through the clouds here in Tucson. Perhaps a glimmer of hope for the Germans, who have trailed the entire day. Tying runs in scoring position. Runners go. Outside. Another walk. And the tying runs at third.
I mean, this is hard to watch. Pardinho just unable to find that zone consistently. And Arentz, we talked about how they had kind of flipped their offensive approach, being more aggressive. And now in this situation, they have flipped right on back.
How have they not come out to get Eric Pardinho?
I don't know. I think they're giving him every opportunity to lose this game himself.
Here's Alex Schmidt, who's been the best in German's lineup. This one, soft fly into left. And just like that, the threat is extinguished. But boy, did Germany make it interesting once again. It's a one-run game as we move to the 9th. This is something that Stephen Brault and I are in agreement on. After what we just saw in the bottom of the 8th inning, 3 straight walks from Eric Pardinho, I don't know why in the world Alex Schmidt goes after the first pitch right here.
And I gotta be honest, it wasn't like a really aggressive swing either. It looked like he was really wanting to swing in a first pitch fastball down the middle, and then that one ran in a little bit, and he actually wanted to hold up, but he was too late. He had committed too much. That's an unfortunate mistake by a player who's been very good for Team Germany so far.
Yeah, we got a lot of crooked numbers now. 8, 7, 7, 1 error for each team. This has been quite the adventure. And the new pitcher for Germany, Nick Whitgren, is on to face the top of the Brazilian order here in the 9th.
I mean, it was 4-2 in the 6th inning.
Whitgren fires 2-0, now 3-0. And he is the 6th reliever used by Germany after they needed just one yesterday. That was Jordan Martinson, who pitched much earlier in this game, back in the 4th and 5th. So Nick Whitgren, still unsigned, 33 years old, out of Torrance, California. 8 years in the bigs from 2016 to 2023. He's appeared in over 400 games. And there's a walk. I haven't seen too many of those from the German pitchers, but Gabriel Gomez draws his second.
Yeah, and Brazil's, look, the offensive side of Brazil has done a great job of continuing to put runs on the board because the pressure on their pitching staff has been very high these last few innings especially. And so in order for them to try to keep things moving, one more run here at least in the 9th to give themselves a little bit of a cushion would be huge.
Lucas Ramirez has been Brazil's most potent hitter, 2 for 4, an RBI double and a couple of runs. At just 19 years old, Manny's son showing up in a big spot here as Brazil looks to start this qualifier 1-1. Big gap in right center field for the lefty. And he sends a soft tapper to the right side. Lutz up with it, funnels to the pitcher. Nice reception. The stretch by Whitgren to haul it out of the air and get to the bag just in time for the out.
Yeah, Lutz almost put himself in a pretzel there. Fielded that ball, slow ground ball, tried to go to second first, at least take a look at it, but, you know, Whitgren, great job. Look at that snag.
Those are those braided second twist pretzels.
Right.
And there's that little toe tap just in time. It does get Gomez up to second. Now, if you like this sort of thing, if you're looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it's going to be the top of the German order. Although it looks like Yuichi Matsumoto is going to make one change here and summon another pinch runner out towards second base. That's going to be Thiago Nishiyama, pinch running for Gabriel Gomez.
Once again, Brazil doing everything they can. I love the way manager Yuichi Matsumoto has been running this game, running the bullpen, running the pinch runners they've used, the defending changes they've used, trying to keep that lead, and now trying to manufacture one more run. They're trying to get this run on second. Obviously, if you get a bunch of base hits and you get more, that's great. But right now it's focused on how do we score this one run.
This is like a National League game from when you and I were growing up.
Yeah, West Coast baseball.
Leonardo Hejinato, breaking ball for a strike. And we've talked so much about Hejinato on this stage, how clutch he has been. The way this game has gone for the Brazilians, even though they've led most of the way, with the runs not starting in this one until the 4th inning, they've got to feel that they need at least one more. You could hear the grunt from Whitgren, with Hejinato at the plate, 1 for 3 with a ribby double.
I am curious, based on the fact that nobody's actively warming up.
That is something I've noticed. Whitgren eyes second and delivers.
I think Pardinho might be going back out.
I mean, there is activity in the bullpen, but it's just stretching and light jogging. Nobody has picked up a baseball out in that Brazil bullpen. One-run game here in the 9th. Couldn't draw it up much better than this. As we kick off our Monday doubleheader, Reginato, favorite spot, right center field, and that's down. but the runner Nishiyama held it third. The throw comes in. Lutz can't handle it. The runner falls down. Now he's back. The mad dash and the scramble, and somehow, some way, Nishiyama crawls to the plate to give Brazil that extra run.
There's a lot of things to break down here. This was not a good baseball fundamental play in multiple ways. One, off the bat, I understand taking it a little bit slow, but he went back like he was going to tag at second base. That is not the time to be trying to tag. And so it ended up being, he got sent by the third base coach, but he would have been way out if center fielder had hit his cutoff man. Instead, throws it all the way to Lutz in the inside of the infield, and then the short hop from Lutz, unable to make the throw to home. Just not a good play there by the German defense. Honestly, not good base running either by Brazil, but they ended up getting lucky and scoring that run.
Reginato with his second base hit and his second ribby. Just a stud in these qualifiers. 1 for 3 with a double yesterday, 2 for 4 today.
I mean, he just hits.
And the Brazilian side, again, very vocal about this strike zone, with Dante Bichette Jr. immediately falling behind 0-2. Fans starting to get into it as well. There are some Brazilian fans here. Some standing behind that dugout. And Wickren goes back to the heat to get Bichette for the second out.
Big strikeout there. Wickren, you know, I like what we see from Wickren so far, but it does seem like he's been shying away from that fastball a little bit. So it's nice to see that come back in a big way. Just blow right by Dante Bichette Jr.
Lucas Hoju, the batter. RBI double and a run back in the fourth. Wickren holding that long set. Finally throws, nice. And that's the one you want, strike one.
You got to love a long hold to a well-executed pitch. I mean, that's good pitching right there. Keeping the guy on first honest and still getting your strike.
Nick Wickren pitched in 35 games for the Twins AAA affiliate last year. That one grounded foul up third. And a good job by Eric Brank, who initially was going for it and then peeled back and let it roll on by foul.
That would have been a very difficult play to make.
Because if that hits him, suddenly you've got a lot happening down that line.
Hard to make a judgment call for an umpire when you're kind of blocked by the body of the third baseman. Let's take a look how close this is down that line. This is another one, though, that luckily that bounced really high, and so it makes it easy.
Watching that replay, he might have just had to skip over his mitt. I don't know if he peeled it back.
We can say he did.
0-2. Oh, look at it.
Wasn't even trying. Some chirping going on.
And by the way, I love this fire from Brazil because they had no energy, no emotion last night.
It's hard to, you know, sometimes the truth is something has to happen.
Yep.
You can't just fake emotion. You have to be able to feel it. And yesterday there was really nothing for them to really get behind.
They realize that they're fighting for their lives. They're trying to get back to their second WBC. And yet Germany, with all their fanfare and all the good vibes from yesterday, they're still chasing down their first appearance in the main tournament.
And their offensive side has been fantastic today. Once again, has been the trouble for Germany, continuing to pitch.
And Wickren puts down Hoju to end the top of the ninth and get us to the home half. Top of the German order coming up. Brank, Helmig, and Dunn. This one caught us all by surprise. Oh no! But Brazil scores to get the insurance run. for the bottom of the 9th inning. Last chance for Germany. And after somehow surviving the bottom of the 8th inning, Eric Pardinho is out there to embark on the 9th and close out a 2-inning save. He got the insurance run in the top half. He paints a strike to even things up with Eric Brank, who's still trying to find his way at the top of this German lineup. 0-for-9 now with 4 strikeouts over the first 2 games of the qualifier. Brank stares, and Pardinho's body language on the mound just isn't good because he and Casey James are at odds behind the plate.
The whole Brazilian half of the stadium here lost their minds collectively on that pitch. That's a really good pitch, but I do think that's inside off the plate. I just think we're seeing a very tight zone that we've seen all game consistently.
Brank just trying to get aboard and bring up the tying run. He nearly wore one, and he'll take it at this point. 3-1 with Helmig on deck and Lucas Dunn to follow. That's Murillo Gouveia warming up. We saw him pitch last night against Colombia. The 3-1. Oh boy.
Oh,
Late strike. 3-2. Pardinho has no problem with that one.
I mean, look, it's been a pretty consistent zone. This one, it is a strike. It's just the catcher was lined up inside. So
big payoff from Pardinho. Ground ball. He gloves it. Nice play. Pardinho doesn't let the strike zone affect his defense. Here's what happened in the 8th inning. I was shocked that Pardinho even finished it because he lost the zone. Walk 1, walk 2, walk 3 in a row. He ended up walking 4 in the inning. The last 2 brought in runs with the bases loaded. And now he's 2 outs away from getting Brazil to 1-1. Lou Helmig, ball 1, and again a grimace from Pardinho on the mound.
Yeah, at some point you've got to center yourself. You've got to make sure you can't let the umpire's zone affect you every pitch that you disagree with.
And let's not forget, they still have 1 more game to play, and there's a chance that Casey James is on the crew for their next encounter.
Yeah. I mean, this is a hard thing about baseball. Sometimes you're going to be at odds with the umpires, but, you know, it's just part of the game, man. You have to be able to find what you need to do to get back in the zone and get swings.
There's a swing and a ground ball to second. Diving stop. Hoju gets up. Wow! How big was that?
What a sweet play there at second base by Hoju. You know, off the bat, I thought that was a no-doubt hit, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit in that grass. And Hoju, just a wonderful read. Great dive, staying really low to the ground.
And it was pretty close. Good hustle by Helmig up the line. But that's just picture perfect. And now Brazil's 1 out away. On the inside corner, a sarcastic cheer from the Brazilian fans. Lucas Dunn, the last chance here for Team Germany. Strike 1 offering. Big swing. And it's tipped back 0-2.
Looks like Pardinho has settled in. Unfortunately, Team Germany down to their last strike. All because of Brazil's ability to keep scoring runs in these late innings.
One last chance for Germany, the 0-2. And they're just oohing and eyeing with every pitch Pardinho throws. Now look at that, Pardinho at 40 pitches.
Well, I mean, he's not going to be pitching tomorrow.
In less than 2 innings of relief, he's going for the save. Can he do it here? He can! And Brazil hangs on to take down Germany and even up their record at 1-1.
Wow, what a game. I mean, look, that game had everything you could possibly want in a World Baseball Classic. You had some really good hitting. You had some good defense. You had some big mistakes. Good job taking advantage of those mistakes by teams. It was an awesome game to watch.
It was wild. It was dirty. It was scrappy. It was exactly what Brazil needed to get back in the win column and once again put the pressure on Germany heading into their final game tomorrow. Of course, we still have a long ways to go. Colombia and China tonight. 1 more day of doubleheaders tomorrow, and then we'll have to sort out the standings. Here's Pardinho with the punch out, the emphatic yell, And the Germans go quietly, 1-2-3 in the ninth. Pardinho fought the strike zone. He jawed with the umpire, but he nailed down the 2-winning save, giving Brazil the 9-7 win and a chance tomorrow.
I think a lot of this is on Matsumoto's managing.
Yes.
I really do. In order to be able to score 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th and 9th, all manufacturing those runs, finding a way to keep that line going, because you could tell the German offense was just right on their heels. They were not making it easy at all, especially for Pardinho. But that's exactly what you needed for Matsumoto.
Here's what's coming up later tonight. China has a tall task ahead as they come in after getting mercy ruled yesterday by Germany 12-2 against a Colombia squad that was the favorite coming in as the 13th ranked team in the world. A 5-0 win, a chance for Colombia to improve to 2-0 after a wacky one here in the opener of this doubleheader. In the end, Brazil hangs on. They push all the right buttons and beat Germany 9-7. Qualifier play continues. We've got Colombia and China later tonight. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. local time. For Stephen Brault and our outstanding production crew led by Mike Trainer, I'm Greg Caserta. So long, and we'll talk to you tonight in the desert.